Test, test, test. Yes, yes, yes. We are back, friends. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. It's always appreciated. You're always appreciated. We love it. We love the goons. We love to see them. Thank you, guys. We're a little bit late, but that's fine. Lots going on as usual. I don't know if you can see this dono goal. It says go to Valuetainment Studios. This could also say go to or Bet David Consulting or whatever. You guys know that I'm doing this thing next week where I'm going to Florida to be on the Inside True Crime podcast with Matt Cox. Very big look potentially for the boy. I'm going to investigate the ethno-religious mating event of the Druze people that is happening there as well. Because apparently my bloodline grants me access. And I'm also going to try to check out Scientology in Clearwater because they own a lot of Clearwater, Florida. Now, something I said I would do as a dono goal previously was I would go to Fort Lauderdale and go to Casa D'Angelo as well. And some of the goons actually hit me up after I said this, and they said that they actually live in Fort Lauderdale and that they would be happy to accompany me to Casa D'Angelo in case Patrick and co are there. So I'm still down to do that. And now I think, you know what? In light of this, Goliath Ventures thing that we're going to talk about, as well as in light of my recent correspondence with my lawyer, I think I might have to make the trip to Valuetainment Studios as well. So I set a new dono goal. Look, man. Traveling, no matter what kind of connections you have, well, I shouldn't say no matter, because I'm sure there are people who actually it's very lucrative for them to travel. I'm kind of taking a gamble, to be honest. I'm kind of taking a big swing on going to Florida to be on this Matt Cox podcast because I'm hoping that it does a lot of good for me to be on there. But of course, it's expensive. It's expensive getting down there and whatever. They're not paying me to be on there and whatever. And it's certainly a mix of emotions to have been like, okay, pull the trigger, we're going. And then, my lawyer hits me up the other day and says, on Saturday, I was like, guys, my lawyer just hit me and said they need another $1,000 for fees. Well, now the latest is that my lawyer needs another $7,000.
What you are about to witness is real.
So, this is it's an understatement to say it's not fun to, it's like clockwork. Every couple of months, some massive, massive bill, legal bill for just nonsense lawfare, makes its way across my desk. So, I've been trying to shoulder the struggles of being Always Marco and being a voice against the behemoth that is multi-level marketing for the last few years now, honestly. And I'll say it's very difficult. I'm at a point where I'm almost at a point where I might have to just bite the bullet and say, look, y'all, I've been dedicating my life for the last 7 years to helping other people avoid scams. Well, you know what? Now your boy is in a position where he needs help, and not just in a live stream, not just a dono goal, but like a bigger, calling in some favors, hollering at my friends in higher places, hollering at CoffeeZilla, trying to, see if I can holler at, see if I can holler at Penguin Zero or somebody like that, just trying to figure it out. So yeah, it's really something. I don't even know what to say about it, really. It's just, I'm besides myself. But I do have some good news. The good news is that we have 80 people in the chat, but only a fraction of that have clicked thumbs up on the ting, which, why is that?
Thumbs up the
Click
ting.
like, it's free to like. We've got Monsoon the Goon in the chat saying, YouTube donos don't work. Looks like a Streamlabs only night. So true. Streamlabs link in the chat. This is the only way. YouTube takes 30%. Benjamin's here. Croteens is here. We got a lot of goons here. Dine M says there's a great clip that PBD just posted about Theo Vaughn's last appearance on Rogan. Rob plays the wrong clip, and the shit Theo was saying, and PBD's reaction is hilarious. Hopefully you react. Okay, let me look that up, and I'll Rob pull that up, and I'll look it up for I actually, you know what? What would I even search? You're gonna need to tell me the name of that video, because what would I even search? Patrick Bet David, Patrick Bet David, Theo Vaughn, or PBD podcast Theo Vaughn, PBD podcast Theo Vaughn. It's gonna be like an actual. Oh, here it is. This got to be it. One day ago. Um, yeah, but I mean, how much am I gonna watch the full 13 minutes to figure it out? Wish there was a way to give to Marco that didn't steal a bunch of it with fees. Well, Streamlabs link in the chat, or e-transfer, or PayPal in the description. The good news that I wanted to share with you guys here before we get into this video, the CoffeeZilla video, I'm sure you guys have all seen, is sort of like required homework if you haven't, if you don't know what we're talking about, but I'll do my best to get you up to speed because we're not going to watch this whole video. Also, I was link in the chat. This is okay. This is this video and this video. Okay, there's two videos here from this WTF TV, Channel 9, that somebody sent me actually on Instagram, showing that at one point this guy spent, and you can see I'm kind of jumping ahead, spoiling it here, paid $1 million to Bet David Consulting LLC and $1 million to real estate. I mean, okay, we're gonna watch this. I don't want to jump ahead and spoil this, but I do have one other thing to share first, and this is like a super exclusive sneak preview air horn moment, because I haven't actually like published this yet, or gone public with this yet. I've been talking about how I'm doing a free workshop, which is happening this Friday. And if you guys want to go to the free workshop, I'm going to put a link in the chat right now where you can save a calendar invite. You can save a calendar invite. This is the website, okay? The website, I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag here. The website is missiontomonetization.com. Okay, I'm going to show you the website here. Rob, pull up the website. This is the website. I've been working on this website and this free workshop for weeks now. And finally, it's at a point where it's ready to go. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we have a bunch of stuff to discuss. But I'm extremely happy with how the site turned out. This is where the free workshop will go when all is said and done. This is, I think, the beginning of how I'm going to continue to like do good in the world by helping others build a platform based on the issues that they're passionate about, the interests, the passions, the hobbies, even the businesses that they use to as a medium to get their beliefs and messages out into the world. So, I've been a full-time content creator for 7 years. I've had a lot of trial and error. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of money, but I've also left a lot of money on the table. And so this free workshop that I'm doing on Friday is for anybody who's interested. This is, you don't have to even give me your email or anything. It's totally free to just watch. There's no catch. I'm just literally going to be sharing the information around primarily three things. The three things that I have used to basically be a full-time creator since 2019. And those are having a mission or a purpose that you believe in, some sort of strong conviction or passion or position on a certain topic that makes people want to support you. And that's something that I explain more in the workshop. The second thing is how I actually make my content, how I actually do this process of, live streaming and then repurposing the live stream into a shorter video and then repurposing that shorter video into multiple videos and then posting them across platforms, and showing my actual sort of process method for that and the results of it. And then lastly is, of course, money, because YouTube does pay you for views, but I'll tell you, it's not that much. It's not that much. And So this is why you see creators try to diversify and they sell merch and they have paid communities and school communities, and they have Patreons and things like that. Basically, I've done pretty much every type of, except from like selling a course. What the heck? Mike glitched out right there. Mike, are you okay? Um, I've done pretty much every monetization method with the exception of selling a course. And so, I always think the stuff that I know is common sense. We always think that we know everything, or that everyone else already knows everything we know, but it's really not the case. You don't know what you don't know. And so I did this workshop presentation. I did sort of like a dry run with it with some creator friends of mine, and they they thought, I mean, I was surprised. These are like friends of mine who I talked to regularly over the last few years, and they found the information really helpful and didn't expect me to talk about certain things, or I shared things with them that they didn't know. So very excited for the free workshop on Friday, and then basically after the workshop, um, what I'm offering to people is the same thing that they'll see in the workshop, examples that I've done successfully with other creators and businesses, helping them to apply the strategies that I've learned to their own.
God did.
Man,
Happiness Handmade
Lisa.
KCDIDDDDDD. 68 Canadian dollars and 79 cents. It's not much, but I hope it helps. Looking
Isn't that
forward to
crazy?
Friday. Keep making a difference.
Lisa, thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate. What? Wrong button. Wrong button. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. Isn't it crazy that 50 US dollars comes out to like almost 70 Canadian dollars? That's insane. So literally, when my lawyer's like, "Yeah, I need $5,000," it's $7,000. If my lawyer needs $10,000, it's like $15,000. It's insane. Um, so yeah, basically, I'm gonna show examples in the workshop of things I've done for myself and others that have massively increased their results in terms of getting views, but also, again, I have to emphasize this, also monetizing, because you cannot pay your rent off of views, especially short form content views. Okay. Instagram, if you're in Canada, it doesn't pay. Maybe you're part of the Reels. There's a program called like the Creator Something Fund where you can get paid, but it's not a guarantee. And then like the TikTok Creator Fund, I'm pretty sure we don't have it in Canada. I've never been paid off of a view for TikTok or Instagram, as far as I know. So, look, the reason I'm doing the workshop for free and there's like no catch to it is because we live in a climate of people trying to sell you some sort of golden yellow brick road scam offer where they promise you the world and then get your money, and then of course it's just a scam. And my whole, I guess if you want to call it, brand over the last 7 years has been warning people about scams and trying to keep people from being scammed. And so I know already that the red flags can go up if somebody like me is talking about here's how you make more money. But I do really feel like this is the next evolution of my of my journey, if you want to call it that, my journey as a creator and somebody who wants to do good in the world. I thought, you know, prior to COVID and even after COVID, I thought that it was enough to just tell people not to get scammed and to help people avoid scams. Now I realize, well, it's not now I realize, but now I also um, include in my thought process the fact that even if you're not getting scammed, life is hard. And so I see so many people who are so talented, especially friends of mine. It's the worst feeling when you see your boy just sleeping on his own potential. I see so many people who are massively talented content creators. They get views, but then they don't have any sense of how to monetize it. It's like I see people who I'm like, bro, you could be a complete full-time content creator if you just had something to sell, a t-shirt, a Patreon, something. And so, a big part of what I'm sharing and teaching on Friday is how to monetize what you already have. You don't need to be, I'm proof, you do not need to be a creator that gets millions of views or millions of subscribers. I myself don't even have a YouTube video with over 1 million views. I don't even have a long form video with over 1 million views. And I've been a full-time creator since 2019 because I have systems, I have a strategy, and again, it's a lot of trial and error. If I could go back in time, I probably would have made hundreds of thousands more. I might have made $1 million off of content by now if I hadn't made the mistakes that I made in the past. And so this this workshop on Friday, it's just a Zoom. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to participate. You don't even have to have your camera on. It's at 5 p.m. my time, so 3 hours prior to right now, on Friday. I'll put the link in the chat. And again, the website is missiontomonetization.com. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but the message behind it is not just that you're on a mission to monetize, but that we are trying to monetize a very specific mission. We're not just trying to go viral and get views and do whatever it takes to get views and clout chase. We're actually trying to build a community of people who support you for the thing that you're doing, for the thing you're fighting for or fighting against. And you might think, well, I just make comedy videos. I just do gardening. I just do, clothing. Trust me, there is a way that you can, regardless of what type of content you make, there is a way to instill a sense of purpose in it and make it something that actually benefits people and that people want to support. And again, I'm going to go over all of this on Friday, but I'm looking a little rugged. I've been, I haven't uploaded in the last couple of weeks, and it's because I've been building this. So yeah, very excited about it. Excited to do the workshop. Excited to help more people. Excited to, you can go on the website and look at testimonials right now. The people that I have helped, I'm excited to see them continue to succeed. And this is just, I want to help other people do what I've been able to do, because being a YouTuber since 2019, being a full-time content creator, it's a blessing that I've been able to do this. I haven't had a job since 2017. That is a blessing. And if I've been able to do it without even having a video with 1 million views or, having hundreds of thousands of followers, then I know it's possible for others. And I'm not going to sit here and say anyone can do it, because not anyone can do it and not everyone can do it. But, people definitely can do this. And, I just feel like, yeah, people just don't know what they don't know. And so if you want to join it, missiontomonetization.com/webinar. I put the link in the chat where you can check it out. And yeah, you'll see more on Friday. But literally what it is, it's after the webinar. Like if people choose to work with me, and this is what I did for the testimonials, and I'll explain this in the webinar, it's literally me getting on a call with people, and sometimes they just need a kick in the pants. And so I'm literally building things for people that will make them money, plain and simple. So for example, I'll just use one example, and maybe he'll actually pop into the chat because we sometimes see him in here. I'll just give you one example from the workshop. So this is somebody that I actually did this with. This is somebody who actually did take me up on this. And I've had him on the stream before, which is why I'm using him as an example. But Reborn Vids is an amazing person, creator, American Palestinian guy, the best Netanyahu and Patrick Bet-David impressions on the internet. Millions of views, okay? 10 million plus views across his content. The best impressions. And no way to monetize it. No Cameo. Well, he had a Cameo and he was charging $15 a Cameo and had only posted about it on his TikTok story twice, so nobody even knew he had a Cameo. He had no merch. He had, his video where he's Netanyahu saying, "Are you regulated?" No t-shirt that said, "Are you regulated?" No Patreon for people to support him. No content where he's showing his authentic personality so that people can, know why they should support him aside from just him being funny and whatever. So what I did was I worked with him. We did 2 calls okay? 2 sessions. The first session, I literally said, okay, I screen share my screen. I go, okay, go to this website, type this in, sign up for this, click this, click this, click this. And in the span of the session, we set up Cameo. We set up a merch store so that he has merch on on a place where people can go and buy to support him. And then on the next call, he told me, I'm interested in live streaming. You saw I had him as a guest on my live stream a couple of times. He wants to live stream, but he knows nothing about streaming. Okay, same thing. Boom. Download OBS, open OBS, click this, click this, click this, set this up. Here's the link to this camera, buy this camera. And we literally took him from having like a phone setup to having a full, like, beautiful OBS setup in the span of the one session. Literally saved him countless hours of watching YouTube tutorials and doing trial and error by himself. And now he can do, like, you see how I'm doing this on the screen where it's like the image here and me here? Now he can do that as well. And then what else did we set up? Oh, yeah, automations. This is a whole nother thing, bro. You know when you go on someone's post and you see a thing that says, like, you see a thing in the caption that says, like, comment list or comment whatever. Comment workout and I'll send you my workout plan, or comment coaching and I'll send you my application to work with me as a fitness coach. Those are all robots doing that. Like, it's not a robot writing that in the caption, but it's a robot that's sending you a response on behalf of whatever you triggered. You know, if you commented coaching, a robot is doing that automatically. And so imagine somebody like Reborn, right? Millions of views on his Netanyahu impressions. Imagine he just had one line of text in the caption or a pinned comment that said, comment Cameo and I'll send you a link and I'll send you a link to get a custom video from BB. You're telling me that with over the span of the last year or however long it's been that he's been doing the Netanyahu impression, millions of views, you don't think that he would have made some money off of a t-shirt that said, are you regulated? Off of a, I'll show you what we did. I'll actually fucking show you what we did. Reborn, his design, multiple colors, his own website. I can buy this right now. I can go, this is literally his website. I can go buy this right now. It's so simple. It's so simple, but it would have taken hours and hours for him to figure out how to set up on his own. And now he's set up where he can make multiple items. He can go buy this. Like, you can literally go buy this right now. We did his Cameo. Where's his Cameo? Let me pull it up. It's in my history here. We did his Cameo. Look at this. He was charging $15. I was like, you need to be charging at least $50. After Cameo takes their cut, you ain't making nothing off $15. We did this. We did the merch. We did the OBS. You know what else we did? We set up automations so that when somebody comments Cameo, they can get the link to the Cameo and buy a Cameo automatically sent to them in DM from his profile without him doing anything. We set up another one for the t-shirt, I believe. You can comment a word and he'll send you a link to the merch. So now he can wear the shirt in a video and do like a subtle promo of it as well. So, and mind you, this is all over the course of 2 calls from having no way to make money, just getting millions of views, putting videos out into the ether for nothing, literally for nothing. Companies pay millions of dollars to try to figure out how to do ad campaigns and make videos that get 1 million views so that they can sell some product or service off the people who see it. But content creators, by and large, seem to have it backwards, where they think, if I got 1 million views today, job well done. If not, too bad, so sad. But that shouldn't be the metric that you're using to figure out whether you're succeeding or not. Because if you go viral and get 1 million views, guess what? Now you have to do the same thing next month, and you made $0. And then next month you made $0. So you can't take your Instagram analytics to the bank, unfortunately. And this is just a realistic, real part of life that you need to make money. And if you're a content creator and you are getting millions of views and you're making great content, then I believe you deserve to make money. If you're not scamming people and you're actually like doing good work, you deserve to make money. Even more so if you're actually doing something that's good for the world with your content. So in the course of 2 calls, we took him from literally $0 to now he has merch. Now he has Cameo. Now he has automations to promote both of those things. And he has OBS set up where he can stream on YouTube. Oh, that was the other thing. Streamlabs link. We set him up on Streamlabs too. Now he can live stream, get donations during the lives, post the videos on YouTube, get monetized on YouTube, start getting paid from ad revenue on YouTube. What is that? 5, 6, I don't know, 5, let's call it 5 ways, 5 different revenue streams that he was able to just set up once. And now he has a way to make money for the next time he goes viral. You're telling me over the next year where he's going to get another 10 million views that he won't make? Come on. Even just the cameo is insane. What's the let me just do some quick maths because I'm actually curious. Rob, I'm actually curious about this. Since I'm a numbers guy, Rob, let's do some numbers, okay? Okay, Reborn. If Reborn is charging $50 for a cameo and he gets 10 million views, and across all the videos where he's getting 100,000 views here, 500K views here, adding up to 10 million. In all of those videos, he has an automation or a line in the caption or a pinned comment that says, comment cameo and I'll send you, or comment BB and I'll send you a link to get this is it. Comment BB for a custom video from BB, or comment cameo for a custom video from BB. And it DMs them the link to his cameo. Let's say we want him to make $10,000 in the next year from cameo. And he got 10 million views. 10 million divided by 10,000. Is that true? Is that really? What percent of 10 million is 10,000? I want to make sure I'm not doing this wrong. 0.1%. So in order for Reborn at a $50 price point, in order for Reborn to make 10 grand USD in the next year off of just, are you regulated? In order for him to make 10 grand off of that, he needs a 0.1% conversion rate. 0.1% out of 10. I think that's more than reasonable. Never mind what he's going to sell in merch. Never mind what he's going to sell in Patreon. Never mind what he's going to get in ad revenue. Never mind what he's going to get in Streamlabs. Streamlabs link in the chat, by the way. So, anyways, enough about the workshop. Friday, you're going to see it in full. And if you're interested in it, missiontomonetization.com. I should go ahead and put it in the description as well for those of you who are watching this on the replay. But it's missiontomonetization.com/webinar. If you're watching this on the replay before Friday, you can check it out there. All right, without further ado, let's check out what our boy Chris Delgado from the Ponzi scheme, which you can now comfortably say it's a Ponzi scheme without worrying about it being defamation or whatever like Danny DeHeck had to deal with. You can now say that because it's been confirmed. He's been arrested, and it is what it is. So I'm assuming you guys have seen CoffeeZilla's video, but Goliath Ventures, they tried to sue this creator, Danny DeHeck. Shout out Danny DeHeck. We've seen him in the chat here before. And he was sued by them, which I can very much relate to because I'm currently going through that myself, and it's not fun. And so finally, the lawsuit was dropped and the criminals were found out, and the CEO, whatever you want to call him, Chris Delgado, was arrested. So something I found interesting, which CoffeeZilla actually didn't talk about at all in his video, which I understand he has a lot to get in there, but I think it's relevant that you can look here and see, if you just Google Patrick Bet-David, Chris Delgado, this is what came up for me. Christopher Delgado is the CEO of Goliath Ventures, who was arrested by federal authorities for orchestrating a massive $328 million cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme. Media personality and podcaster Patrick Bet-David's connection to Delgado stems from Goliath Ventures acting as the title sponsor for Bet-David's The Vault 2025 business conference.
What you were about to witness.
So keep in mind, the Vault Conference 2024 is the one that Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, spoke at. He's had tons of celebrities on this. Let's just go look at, here it is, the Vault for fuck's sakes, Vault Conference 2024. Look at this. You can see the past speakers on the website here. Hold on. This is the Vault Conference website. So this is promoting Vault Conference 2026. Tom Brady, Dwayne Johnson, Tony Robbins, right? You look at all these very high level people. Do you want to spend $17,000 for a floor seat, a manual, a swag collection, a 3-hour mastermind with Patrick, a CEO? Or do you want to just be a little brokey and spend $400 on the general seating and the 300-page manual? Where's the previous here? The Rock, Tom Brady, Tony Robbins, Mike Tyson, Martha Stewart, Gary Kasparov. It's just insane. And so we're seeing that it says here the title sponsor for Bet David's The Vault Conference. And now I want to show you a video. This video, okay, there's two here. Let's start with this one, and then we'll work our way backwards. Accused $300 million Ponzi scheme CEO explains where money went, part 1.
Delgado and co-conspirators are accused of taking in more than $300 million from people who thought that they were investing in cryptocurrency. Good evening, I'm Greg Warmoth.
And I'm Martha Sagowski. This is a big story. Channel 9 anchor and investigative reporter Darlene Jones joining us live in the studio with us. And Darlene, in all the weeks you've spent a long time talking with Delgado, he's never denied what's in that criminal complaint.
No, Greg and Martha, but he repeatedly told me that he never intended for Goliath Ventures to become a Ponzi scheme. Now he is cooperating with the feds, and he told me he's already told them what you're about to hear, from how it all started to where that cash went.
Christopher Delgado says he was in Dubai trying to salvage Goliath Ventures when he learned a federal criminal complaint was coming.
I had a responsibility to come back, not only face the charges, but also give a full picture of what happened.
Delgado is no longer running Goliath Ventures, and he says he's not running from the truth either.
They put their trust in me, and I failed them.
Hundreds of people trusted him with their life savings, and some lost it all. He's wearing an ankle monitor confined to his 11,000 square foot estate, bought last year with Goliath investors' cash, just before his attorneys confirmed he was under federal investigation.
There was only like $160,000 left in the bank account.
Chris, you blew through tens of millions of dollars?
We were paying people. And our people were making an astronomical amount of money.
This federal criminal complaint shows Goliath was born out of Gen Z venture firm in 2019 when Delgado moved from Miami to Orlando, a long way from where he grew up in Victorville, California.
I grew up poor. My first job, I was making $8 an hour and was still broke at 16, with no bills, working my ass off.
Delgado says he earned his first million later as an adult, working as a consultant, bringing in $100,000 to $200,000 per contract, convincing businesses and entrepreneurs he could boost their brands. And he was investing.
I think that was the first time in my life I went into a scarcity mindset. I was scared to lose the money. So if I'd spend $2,000 here, I'd try to figure out a way to make $2,000 here.
You had no college education, no formal president role in any sort of corporate company, and people were paying you to tell them how to run their business.
Yeah. So I had that alert to me, You're the first person ever that would be like, why are these people paying you? And it's a very valid question. And no one's ever asked me that.
Federal investigators say Delgado and his co-conspirators solicited investors under false and fraudulent promises of monthly returns, which were sometimes presented as guaranteed or low risk. We are not naming the alleged co-conspirators because they are not named in this complaint. But Delgado told us he shared their roles with the feds. Investors signing these agreements were required to come to the table with at least $100,000 to get into what they thought was a cryptocurrency investment, earning about 3 to 8% each month.
And they came to me and they said, we want to make this bigger than what it is. And that was how Goliath started.
Delgado tells me initially it was just a small group of friends investing alongside one another.
Are you ready to take responsibility?
That was the whole point of this, was
I take responsibility.
not only to show people and to tell people, from beginning to end what had happened, but to allow me to tell them directly from me how sorry I am.
Greg and
Big up the you. Little Marco. Obama.
I mean, you gotta love this. They're all buddied up. You love to see it. I mean, look at the height difference. The little man syndrome is crazy. I think this is the video where it says that it's from the same website, from the same channel. Sorry, but this is the one where it shows that he spent $1 million on Bet David Consulting. Let's check this out. By the way, I want to say what up in the chat to all the mods, all the members. Hagen, what up? De-influenced darling, Walt Turner. Walt Turner says, I wish there was a way to give to Marco that didn't steal a bunch of fees. Oh, Streamlabs? Hilarious. Danny Boy says, hopefully you can counter sue and get all your money back. That'd be great. Have you tried selling $600 sneakers? I should try that. Benjamin says, Marco, I've posted a video very relevant to our struggles and discussions in Discord. It's on workers refusing to come in sick. It's a bit of a positive note because it shows we were fighting back. Hell yeah. Thank you for that, Benjamin. I'll try and get to that. Happiness Handmade Lisa, again, thank you so much. Starless says, I plan on dropping a big bag, such a big bag, when I become employed again. Put some good vibes out there for me, fellow goons. We love that. We love that. Pray hands. Pray hands. Russell and AZ says, what time Friday? I'm sorry I missed that. You didn't miss nothing, my king. It hasn't happened yet. Mission to Monetization, the free webinar. Webinar, did I say? Whatever you want to call it. Webinar, workshop, Zoom meeting. It's for free Zoom. It's not that deep. Friday. Don't miss it. Honestly, don't miss it because listen, the thing that I'm doing with this website, this Mission to Monetization website, okay? This is a like one-on-one thing where I'm helping creators, like serious creators and business owners and brands, like grow on social media and make more money by like custom building them, and not just like consulting them, but like actually building it with them / for them. Systems that are going to make them more money and help them get more growth and more eyeballs on social media. I've already started doing these like behind the scenes before I announced anything, before I'm doing this workshop. And so if you're even a slight amount interested in this, I do want to stress that you should be at the workshop on Friday, because due to the nature of just, it's me one-on-one giving my time. This is, once my calendar's full, it's physically impossible for me to help everyone. And I've already got a ton of interest on this. So I may have to, like, by the time you come back around to the website, it may say some shit like come back later and, come back later. I'm all booked up. But, I still wanted to do something, even though I'm just one guy. But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful fucking website. Thank you to who in the chat here said such a big. Hold on. Big and Starla says big and beautiful website, Marco. Frankly, such a beautiful website. Frankly, I'm interested in attracting more customers to my online store. Yes. First thing you do, thumbs up the ting. Yes. Sneaker Shop Talk says I'm definitely interested. I've been struggling trying to monetize my content. This is the thing, man. There's so many ways to make money online. There's so many ways to make money online that aren't scamming. Take it from me. There's not a single soul walking this planet that can say I did them wrong in any way. Even the people who sued me couldn't say that in good faith. But yeah, that's, there's so many different ways, especially if you have a skill or like some knowledge about something, you can absolutely make money online, and you don't need to have millions of followers. Think of it. Gordon Ramsay is the biggest food content creator on the planet. He has the most shows, the most restaurants, the most successful books. This guy has fucking spin-offs of spin-offs. Okay? I'm actually, plus social media and YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else. But just because Gordon Ramsay is the biggest and he's the GOAT doesn't mean that people only watch Gordon Ramsay. He's not the only food creator. Yes, he's the biggest. Yes, he's the best. But he's not the only one. People always think, well, why would anyone listen to me? Why would anyone watch me? Why would anyone buy from me? But there's people who watch Jamie Oliver and Bobby Flay and whoever the fuck else. Guy Fieri. So, you don't need to be the biggest. You don't need to be, the one with the best thing or the most expensive thing or the cheapest thing. It might be your advantage that you're not a huge platform, because let's say I'm a fan of you and I'm a fan of John Smith, and John Smith has 1 million followers and you have 1,000 followers. I might like John Smith better. He might do better content. But every time I comment on John Smith's video and every time I try to message John Smith, he never sees it because he's too famous. And every time I message you, every time I comment on your thing, you always respond to me. So I like you more. I trust you more. I feel like I know you. I support you. I want to see you win. I want to see you grow. And maybe when it comes time for me to buy John Smith's cookbook and your cookbook, maybe I actually end up buying your cookbook. So this is the thing. It's like people need to sort of get out of their own head. That's a big part of it too, is like this imposter syndrome, which never goes away, mind you. It never goes away. You get to the 10,000 follower mark and all of a sudden you're thinking and comparing yourself to people with 50K. It just never ends. It just never ends. So, don't even trip. Okay, let me continue here. You guys, Monsoon says, is Marco going to show us? He's going to show us. You guys can't wait to see what Marco's going to show us, guy. By the way, I went for ice cream with my little cousins yesterday. And the guy who runs this ice cream shop actually knows me from YouTube. Him and his wife run this ice cream shop in Edmonton. And last summer, they recognized me when I was with my little cousins. And then this time around, he's like, bro, the Patrick Bet-David impression is hilarious. I was like, oh my God. I'm like with my family, with my little cousins. And they're like, what is he talking about, Marco? I'm like, oh, don't worry. I know him. Charles says, we need to pay for Marco to go to PBD's event. Oh, God. Gilito Vargas, thumbs up the thing.
Thumbs up the team.
So true. Thank you, guys. Buy Are You Regulated merch for my union job. I would buy Are You Regulated. That's hilarious. Appreciate y'all. Okay, I'm reading your comments here. They need to trade Delgado's ankle monitor for cold metal shackles. So true. Do you perform the natural obligations? Bro, last year, when's Franz's birthday? July. Last year, I bought my friend Franz a cameo from the guy who says, why are you gay? On Cameo. I don't remember what I paid for it. $60, something like that. I bought a cameo for him for his birthday of the guy who says, why are you gay? You're telling me people wouldn't pay for Reborn's Netanyahu impression saying, are you regulated? Come on. Wake up. Okay, let's see. Tony DeMaria says 2 out of the 6 people who spoke at Vault Conference are convicted felons. Martha Stewart and Tyson. Wow, true. 2 of the 6 that were shown there are convicted felons. And the sponsor, according to that Google AI overview, the main sponsor from last year's Vault Conference is now also a convicted, or has he been convicted? I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn. Allegedly, in my opinion, is now allegedly accused of running a Ponzi scheme. So that's great. How did these people get approved by SEC to open these firms? I don't know if it was like that. I don't know if it was like an SEC approved thing. It was crypto, right? So my understanding is that that's like sort of a gray area. Robs people of retirement, plays victim. Yeah, this soft spoken, like, I knew I had to come back from Dubai to face the music. And come on, brother. Come on. Somebody's lawyer, talk to this guy. Dine M says, I was at Vault 25. Goliath was a huge presence. It was clear they were a financial institution. It wasn't obvious they were crypto. Interesting how PBD attracts MLM figureheads like moths, says Dine M official, not me, allegedly in his opinion. Yeah, it is funny. It is interesting, as you say. It's interesting how PBD attracts MLM figureheads like moths. Some might say birds of a feather flock together. I've heard some crazy conspiracy theorists out there on YouTube say that MLMs, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, there's really no difference. They're just dressed up differently. And that's actually a great thing to discuss, a great segue, because later on during this, I want to show you something that was put out just recently by Robert Fitzpatrick, author of Ponzinomics. Robert Fitzpatrick put out a new article where he's talking about how scams always disguise themselves as different things. And in this article, he's talking specifically about prediction markets. And, CoffeeZilla has done really good coverage on this too. Same with the YouTube channel, I think it's called Good Work, or something. What is it called? Work. I think it's called Good Work. Yeah, Good Work. They've both done good work on talking about prediction markets and explaining how it's basically gambling. It's basically gambling. But there's all these fancy words and people in suits and doublespeak trying to legitimize it as some form of like speculative investment, which is even in itself just a way of saying gambling, isn't it? Speculative investment. Futures trading. Multi-level marketing. I hope you guys can recognize through this big craze of prediction markets just basically being gambling by another name. I hope you can recognize, if you haven't already, that allegedly, in some people's opinion, multi-level marketing is doing the same thing with the name multi-level marketing. And we'll read Robert's opinion, which is not my opinion because he's a crazy kook, and this is allegedly in my opinion, and I'm just reading what other people said because I don't actually have a mind of my own. Okay. Devin in the chat. Devin, are you going to be at the workshop on Friday? I think I messaged you about it. Lock in. Everybody lock in. 138 people watching, only 81 likes. So you hate me. So you hate me and you're betraying me and you want me to die in a ditch and never be successful. That's what you're telling me? Got it. I'm just playing. Do I have Future Looks Bright merch? So true. Marco gives free workshop. Bet David charges $800 a minute on Minect. Be like Marco. Oh, Minect. Oh, Minect. Hello, goons. Why are you gay? All right. Insert Scott Johnson. Do you like me? I got you.
Do you like me?
All right. Let's see here. Here we go. Spending $1 million to Bet David Consulting.
At any point, did you ever sit and say, like, man, I am donating to charities?
New tonight, we are now learning an alleged Ponzi scheme operating right here in Central Florida may have as many as 1,500 victims, and their loss may have been as much as $500 million.
Some of that money was donated to charities, schools, and even political campaigns, big and small. Channel 9 anchor Darlene Jones has documents following that money. She's live here in the studio with us. Darlene,
how much you want to bet Trump pardons this guy?
You have court records to show that they've actually received subpoenas.
Yes, Martha and Greg. Charities, organizations, politicians have received these subpoenas because Goliath Ventures is now in voluntary bankruptcy. And the receiver wants to see financial records and other documents from the groups to piece together what individuals knew about the money received and what can be done to recoup this money to repay investors.
What would Patrick Bet David do indeed, my friends?
Goliath Ventures is no longer in operation and in the hands of a receiver based in South Florida. But before its CEO, Christopher Delgado, was arrested back in February on a federal criminal complaint, documents we obtained show, and Delgado admits to us, the company used other people's money to donate at least $5.1 million to this long list of organizations across Central Florida. Some of the largest donations went to Equity Estates, Bet David Consulting.
Oh, it's a donation. Oh, so it's not even paying for services, it's just a donation? What? That doesn't make sense. Why?
Kids Beating Cancer, Runway to Hope, Orangewood Christian, and Victoria's Voice.
So you're telling me maybe it was, I mean, you guys said that, who was it in the chat here that said he was at Vault Conference 2025 and that Goliath was a huge presence? Maybe the donation to Bet David Consulting was like a way of getting that spot? Or something like that, like he did it as a thank you for being the sponsor of Vault Conference, or to, prove his, I don't know. I don't really understand how that works, but it would kind of be a smart thing. It's like you're borrowing Patrick's personal profile to legitimize your own, I guess, the irony. And, there's a lot of people in the room at Vault Conference and watching online who are obviously not immune to getting sold a dream if they're at Vault Conference, in my opinion. So it would make sense that it would make sense if I was running a Ponzi scheme. It would make sense if I needed a bunch of new customers who are willing to pay a ridiculous amount of money to pursue something that they think is going to make them rich. A good hunting ground for me would probably be Patrick Bet David's Vault Conference, in my opinion.
In May of last year, Goliath was the title sponsor for Runway to Hope's signature event.
Chris Delgado, their CEO, thank you for all your support over these last few years, and we appreciate you greatly. We appreciate your team greatly. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
And if you want to be presenting sponsors next year, the price is going up.
9 investigators.
Does money make the world go round, my friends? Thumbs ups makes the world go round, and only half of you have clicked thumbs up. I need the thumbs ups to pay the bills, you guys. Come on.
It's confirmed through court records that all of the charities and organizations have received subpoenas for financial records and other communication, along with the Republican Party of Florida, which Delgado donated $25,000 to in 2024.
Ooh, I don't know if $25,000 to just the party of Florida is going to be enough for old Donnie Boy to bail you out, but
And newly elected Apopka Mayor Nick Nesta, who revealed on social media earlier this year that he sold homes to Delgado, the receiver working through a bankruptcy filing to find out how much of the money can be salvaged to help repay investors. We're learning through those court filings there could be up to 1,500 people out of at least $500 million, much more than the $328 million cited in that criminal complaint.
At any point, did you ever sit and say, like, man?
Uh-oh, High Level Pro 690. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate the thoughts and prayers, but I feel bad that YouTube is taking 30% of that super chat. So thank you very much for the support, and Streamlabs link in the chat next time is always the best way. But thank you so much for the support. Regardless, appreciate you.
And I am donating to charities, and like all of this is not my money.
It wasn't that thought process because we were building something and we were almost there.
Federal investigators say Delgado and his co-conspirators solicited investors under false and fraudulent promises of monthly returns, which were sometimes presented as guaranteed or low risk. Investors signing these agreements were required to come to the table with at least $100,000 to get into what they thought was a cryptocurrency investment, earning about 3 to 8% each month.
What did you say to people to convince them to give you their money?
I didn't say anything. I've never solicited a dollar into Goliath.
Okay.
No, I've been asked to go to dinners.
We've talked to a couple dozen investors, none willing to go on camera, but some told us they didn't get the pitch about Goliath from Delgado, and some had never met him.
Do you think your presence at these meetings, at the dinners, pressured people or made them feel more comfortable to give the money?
I think it was both. You know, at the time, Goliath was like the cool kids club. If you lived in Orlando or if you lived in Windermere or Dr. Phillips and you weren't part of Goliath, it was weird.
Delgado claims early investor money did go into a
It was weird.
See, they're trying to make it this like exclusive club, like Bernie Madoff's Bernie Madoff's investors were also a very exclusive club.
Delgado claims early investor money did go into a cryptocurrency fund in Dubai, but it grew quickly and ended up frozen. He claims Goliath could see the money but couldn't move it and never saw it again. The problem is Goliath continued taking on new investors and their money, paying out returns with the early investors' cash. Those returns were guaranteed in these contracts. Delgado says he was buying time until he could get his own cryptocurrency fund going, and that didn't happen, he says, until later in 2024.
I had held at that point $16 million into our...
But the investor funds still weren't going into...
Well, Marco Trujillo in the chat says, Goliath was the main sponsor at Bet David Consulting. That's where the 1 mil came from. But that doesn't make sense because this video said that Goliath Ventures donated to Bet David Consulting. And then, so what do you mean? Like, if they're the main sponsor of the event, they should be paying to be the main sponsor of the event, right? So do you think the $1 million, are you saying that the $1 million was like their fee to sponsor the event and they just structured it as a donation? Maybe there's something I don't understand or some sort of tax strategy there, but it would make sense to me that they would spend $1 million to be the main sponsor of the Vault Conference. Yeah. I wonder if that's why I can't find anything online for Vault Conference 2025. I'm having difficulty finding stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, because the fucking Goliath logo would be everywhere, right? And that is obviously a bad look now in 2026. So here's a picture. You can see this is a picture ostensibly from Vault Conference 2025 based on the backdrop. And we can see it says Vault Conference, and then there's a big sign here that says Goliath Ventures. Let's see.
I just got back from the Vault conference.
Oh, God. The fact that this guy's wearing an Andy Elliott shirt tells me everything I need to know. Here's another one where you can see in the background the Goliath. I believe that's the Goliath logo. Let's see. Can we find any more pictures about this? Secrets. I love secrets. I love when business people talk about secrets. Okay. Or content created. The secret to going viral. There's no fucking secret, dude. You just need to play the slots. You just need to post as much as possible. Get as much volume out there as possible and try to make it good. Here's one. Another one of these signs. Goliath Ventures in the back.
They were going in a little at a time of what the company could spare.
Because you were still trying to play catch up.
Yeah. So if we had $1 million or $2 million extra, we would move it into the fund.
Delgado told us he knows he's going to prison, leaving behind all of the accolades from the charities and organizations and the luxurious lifestyle he built with.
Let's see. Dynam Official in the chat says that's what the CEO tier is. All the founders/owners sit in the first row at the event. Yeah, we saw that earlier. And they get private access to PBD. They show up the night before the general public and network. It's insane. It's insane. We were almost there. Every pyramid scheme guy ever, once they get busted, right? I mean, I feel like I recall Bernie Madoff saying the same thing or reading that he had said the same thing about how, like, he didn't mean for it to get to that point, but it just sort of got out of hand. It got out of his control, and he had no choice but to keep bringing in new people because there was no legitimate business engine to pay back the old people, which I do understand. I mean, if you promise somebody that they're going to get something every month, a certain percentage return every single month, then yeah, it is. I mean, you're already kind of screwing yourself because if there's no legitimate way of making those returns, aside from if there's no legitimate way of making those returns, you're screwed, period. If the way to get those people their returns is to get money from new people, now you're just running a Ponzi scheme and it always collapses. No matter how big the numbers get, it will eventually get away from you. And if you've seen the movie The Wizard of Lies, where Robert De Niro plays Bernie Madoff, you'll see that it talked about how his Ponzi scheme came crashing down because of the financial crisis in 2008. People were struggling in 2008 and taking their money out because they had no faith in the institutions. And Bernie was desperate and it all came down. Marco in the chat says, Marco Trujillo says, one of PHP's main guys named John Mason is tied up in all this mess too. John Mason was in the Delgado downline. They are PHP agents. Interesting. The secret is give me all your money, right?
With other people's money, including this $8 million mansion in Isleworth, the Lamborghini in the garage, and the long list of other high-end items he's been ordered to preserve.
So we want to be fully transparent with our viewers and acknowledge that WFTV is a sponsor for Runway to Hope, which is this Saturday. Our investigation, though, will continue. Some organizations told us the money is simply gone, so we'll have to see how or if there is an avenue to get it back. We do know for sure 3 of the 6 organizations you just heard about who received those large donations have set that money aside, have already returned it, or have pledged to return it. Runway to Hope issued this statement to Eyewitness News tonight. Our organization, along with dozens of other Central Florida nonprofits, received in good faith charitable donations in 2023 and 2024 from Goliath Ventures. We have voluntarily disclosed all contributions and will continue to cooperate. Our focus remains on supporting our children and families battling pediatric cancer throughout Central Florida.
I think we get it. It really is. I mean, it's good that he got arrested. It's good that he got caught. You know, here's an article from last summer about Goliath Ventures signed on as title sponsor of the Vault 2025 conference. It says, hosted by Bet David Consulting and led by visionary entrepreneur. That's one way of saying it. Insane. Absolutely insane. We're not just aligning with a powerful event, said Chris Delgado. We're committing to a vision of growth that leaves a lasting footprint on the businesses we support and the communities we care about. As the title sponsor of the Vault Conference, Goliath Ventures will have a large, visible presence at the conference. The company will host exclusive events that reflect the bold, community-driven spirit of Goliath Ventures. Community-driven spirit is certainly one way to describe a Ponzi scheme, for sure. Blockchain technology company. Made it up. You love to see it. You love to see it. Here's one from November. Goliath Ventures, Chris Delgado built a $500 million fraud on fake promises. Why does this only have 316 views? When Lord Chris Delgado stood before 12,000 attendees at the Vault conference, he had just blown $1 million on a sponsorship package. Okay, so that explains it. He couldn't explain what his company actually did. It's a private joint venture fund, he stammered, the vague corporate jargon masking a simpler truth. He had engineered one of the most brazen crypto Ponzi schemes in recent American history, promising guaranteed monthly returns of 4 to 8% while raising $250 and $500 million from more than 1,500 investors. How do people keep falling for this? It's just wild. I want to show you one other thing here too. I wonder if I just search Chris Delgado Vault conference. I'd love to see his like speech, you know? It's crazy. And I'm sure Patrick was quick to scrub the YouTube of any of those appearances, you know, scrub as many pictures of the 2025 conference from the SEO. I'm not actually alleging he did that. I'm just saying I can see why he would have wanted to if he did. I want to show you this too. You know, it's been a long road. It's been 5 years since I was, you know, going hard exposing this company as well. Some of you might remember that era. It was an exciting time. It was a crazy time. A lot of threats, Instagram getting taken down, some other stuff that I'm still literally not allowed to talk about. But here we are half a decade later. And it says the lead defendants in the IM Mastery Academy MLM scheme to turn over tens of millions of dollars in assets to settle FTC charges. FTC alleged Chris and Isis Terry, Christopher Terry, and their companies used false or baseless earnings claims to promote their training services and MLM venture. You'll notice the word pyramid has never appeared in any of the literature published by the FTC about IM Academy. And this sort of exemplifies my frustration, is that they'll call it an MLM scheme. But how can an MLM, I mean, it's just interesting, the choice of language, because according to the FTC, MLMs are legitimate direct selling business models. So then how can something be an MLM scheme?
Rob V 2026 donated 10 Canadian dollars. I must not want to be successful. I'm
So
late
true.
to the stream. Had
So
to
true.
find my $500 Walmart shoes FLBs.
Thank you, Rob. Rob, pull up the donation. Thank you so much, Rob. I really appreciate the support, all you guys. Honestly, if we fill up this dono goal, I'm still going to owe my lawyer $6,000, but I'll feel a lot better. Maxed out. Yeah, Dinah M says official says, similar to the maxed out fella's assessment of how to get ahead. Life is all about strategic partnerships. Pay thousands to get in the room and persuade others to join your movement. Right. Ryan B says, I met Delgado at the Vault conference. He's a short king, the male version of a torta. That's hilarious. PBD should give back the money as well. Well, that's where it gets gray, you know. A non-guy lurking says, don't get me wrong, the guy's a scumbag and I feel sorry for those investors, but when I saw the original video, I couldn't stop laughing. He looks so goofy. Who hands over millions, you know? Anyways, as I was saying about this thing here, IM Academy, and we're going to look at this in a second about prediction markets, you know. I've been passionate about talking about doublespeak for years now on my channel and trying to explain to people that doublespeak is the language of non-communication. You know, it is how to say something without saying it. It is how to make the bad appear good and the good appear bad. And you may argue that people are doing that with the industry of prediction markets and that it's actually just gambling with a fancier name. Some people would say that multi-level marketing is just a fancy name for pyramid scheme. And how can you blame someone for thinking that when you see headlines like this from the agency that's supposed to be protecting consumers? The Federal Trade Commission. Well, even this is our first problem. Why is a regulatory agency whose responsibility is to oversee trade, Why are they even the authority over MLMs? If we really were honest about what MLMs are and what they do, we would see that this is actually a much more appropriate for like the Department of Justice to have oversight over. It should be the Department of Justice's jurisdiction. Because what are MLMs? They're endless chains. They're endless chain schemes. But what they masquerade as is a product-based direct sales business. And I guess convincingly so, because look who oversees them, the Federal Trade Commission. And here we are. I went hard exposing the, two of my most viewed videos on my channel are about this company. Chris Terry and Isis Terry, who was his wife, Isis De La Torre. They were married. My understanding was that the marriage was sort of a sham marriage for tax purposes or something like that. The FTC alleged that they and their companies used false or baseless earnings claims to promote their training services and MLM venture. So what frustrates me here is a couple things. The first is the fact that the FTC is even in charge of this at all, because it should be a Department of Justice issue. It should be a criminal case. If you, in my opinion, if you have used deceptive claims to such an extent that you have bilked consumers out of an estimated $1.2 billion, that's according to the FTC, what they said last May, a year ago, when they first announced that they had sued IM Academy. If you are, if that's what you've done, that you've scammed people through deceptive claims out of $1.2 billion, that to me should mean jail. To me, that means you should go to jail. Because there's sort of a double standard going on here. How can the FTC say on one side that MLM is a legitimate business, but then say that these people scammed people because they were making deceptive claims about their legitimate business? So the only issue here is that they lied about how well you could do. Well, that's kind of a symptom of what the real problem and what the real grievance is, in my opinion. The real problem is that the thing they were making deceptive claims about was inherently bad for people. I'm not going to say inherently fraudulent, but inherently bad for people, because it was an endless chain. It was a system where you were incentivized to recruit other people who paid to join the system so that you could receive financial rewards. Some people would say that's a pyramid scheme, but they don't use the word pyramid once in the entire thing. It reminds me of 10 years ago, the Herbalife settlement with the FTC. The FTC sued and announced, sorry, let me correct that. The FTC in the same day announced a lawsuit and a settlement with Herbalife in the same day. Which, what does that tell you? It was organized beforehand. How can you sue someone and settle with them in the same day? That's not enough time to send the case to their lawyer, have them read through it, draft a response, get on the phone, meet up, negotiate a settlement. So if you're announcing the lawsuit and the settlement in the same day, it means you agreed on it beforehand. And I have the video. I literally have the video saved as a file on my computer because it's so ridiculous, in my opinion. Let me pull it up for you here. I actually have the local file saved. FTC press conference Herbalife. Here, let me share this with you guys.
Federal Trade Commission. I'm Justin Cole, the Director of Public.
Company must track retail
and the FTC
compensation structure at Herbalife if it complies with. I do not endorse that statement. In our complaint, agree with that statement, and we will certainly agreed upon resolution of this matter. We've alleged.
So, by the way, this woman is named Edith Ramirez. She was the former chairperson of the Federal Trade Commission, and here she is at the press conference announcing the lawsuit against Herbalife.
The issues that we are concerned about going forward. So that was the key objective. I think we're achieved.
Hold on.
Any other questions?
Next, we'll go to the line of Matt Goldstein with New York Times. Yeah, hate to belabor the point about pyramid scheme and labels. I understand you say you don't want a label, and people draw their own conclusions. But since this was a negotiated settlement, should we assume that part of the settlement discussion was whether you would have a pyramid scheme claim against them in the complaint that was filed?
Well, look, I think this is belaboring the point. This is a settlement, agreed upon resolution of this matter. We've alleged the issues that we are concerned about, and that's really our focus. And we're achieving what I think is really important monetary and
Doesn't answer the question. There's another part which I don't know the exact timestamp for it. I apologize, but you can see it in the John Oliver video about MLMs. But she says they were not determined not to have been a pyramid. This one moment in time, this like couple seconds snapshot soundbite in history, to me sums up the entirety of what the government's posture towards MLM has been. They were not determined not to have been a pyramid. I wasn't not running a pyramid scheme. You have to laugh, otherwise you would cry, And the fact that the FTC can confidently allege, well, you scammed people. You scammed people. They use the word scam. They literally use the word scam in the initial, the commission will continue to aggressively target scammers who mislead the public and use every tool at our disposal to shut down harmful scams, they say in the press release about IM Academy. Scam. So you'll confidently say that it's a scam, but then also refuse to say the word pyramid, which the silence is deafening. Well, we got them on making deceptive claims. Well, okay, fine. Well, why is making deceptive claims also not a criminal charge? Why is this a fine? So I want to read you guys what this says. Basically, long story short, the FTC and the state of Nevada require 5 individual and corporate IM Academy defendants, including Chris and Isis Terry, to surrender assets valued at nearly $90 million to resolve charges that they used false or baseless earnings claims to persuade people to pay for financial training programs and a multi-level marketing business venture. And then there's a statement about how committed they are to stopping scams. May 2025 complaint, they allege the wide-ranging scheme, which operated most recently as Iovia, but was also branded as IM Mastery Academy, iMarkets Live, and IM Academy, used baseless earnings claims to entice customers to purchase training on how to invest in financial markets. The scheme generated more than $1.2 billion since 2018, used similar claims to persuade consumers to buy into the defendant's multi-level marketing business venture, blah, 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 blah. The defendants focused their deceptive marketing on young people and used social media posts flaunting luxurious lifestyles funded by profits and multi-level marketing commissions. The order today announced resolving the allegations against the 5 main defendants, including the Terrys, a $795 million judgment. To partially satisfy the judgment, the defendants will be required to surrender a wide range of assets, including 8 luxury homes in New York, Nevada, Florida, and Dubai, 13 home lots in a high-end real estate development near Vegas, 19 cars, including Range Rovers, BMWs, Bentley, a Rolls-Royce, a yacht, jewelry including a 15-carat diamond ring and Richard Mille watch, Bulgari, and Rolex. The value of the assets to be turned over by the Terrys, combined with the monetary judgments already paid by the other defendants, like Alex Morton, is expected to total more than $100 million. The remainder of the judgment will be suspended following these transfers, but the total amount will be due if the defendants are found to have lied to the agencies about their finances. There's also prohibitory bans on them. They're not allowed to sell training services. They're not allowed to make false claims, etc. You know what they won't see, though? The inside of a jail cell. And to me, that's a travesty. That Chris Terry, oh, Christopher Terry, Mr. I'm a panda because I'm black, white, and Asian, he said on stage as he tried to pander to every ethnicity of young person in New York and wherever else. Behind MLM, the website Behind MLM did a great post updating on the process of this lawsuit over the last year. They've been good at providing multiple updates. And I remember one post one article they published a couple of months ago documented the real-time happenings through court filings that they had accessed of, the FTC receivers going into these different homes and finding the jewelry and finding all the luxury cars and whatever that Chris Terry had and like taking an inventory of it. And the fact that this guy since 2018, at minimum, mind you, their thing here just says that they estimated that it had scammed this amount of people since 2018. It generated more than $1.2 billion since 2018. Never mind before that or whatever. Let's just say 2018. That was 8 years ago. Basically, almost a decade of a life of decadence. A decade of decadence. Almost. Yachts, cars, dinners, jets, travel, Dubai. There's also, it's documented as well in this process that Chris Terry, aside from his fake marriage with ISIS, also had a girlfriend that he was like buying gifts for and funding her pop music career and building her a studio in the house and all this shit. The fact that they got to do all this, the fact that all they ended up having to do was surrender what was never even rightfully theirs in the first fucking place is a shame to me. So you're telling me that the penalty for scamming to the tune of $1.2 billion is approximately 1/10 of that? And I'm never going to go to jail? And I'm free to live my life and I have no criminal charges and that's it? So what? I mean, he's probably still richer than most of us after this. And, you know, I was mentioning behind MLM. Behind MLM, in that same article, in the next article that I remember reading about this process, the FTC talked about how they had there was filings with the court. The Behind MLM article talked about how the FTC had filed with the court a request for incarceration. I'm going to pull up the thing right now. This is it. FTC seeks coercive incarceration and default in Iovia case. This is from January, only a few months ago. They were seeking coercive incarceration, which means literally locking them up, and entries of default against Chris Terry and Isis Terry. Right here. The motion follows a hearing held on January 23rd, which, despite being ordered to make an appearance, Isis Terry failed to attend. So my understanding of this article, you can go read the full thing on Behind MLM, was that Chris and Isis were being uncooperative in the past year, even after the FTC had sued them. Uncooperative about disclosures, documents, showing up to court, etc., filing things in time, etc., etc., etc. And it's like it had to get to the point where the FTC was literally seeking incarceration against them for them to actually finally settle it. It's just wrong to me. It's just wrong. Why is it that I'm not talking about IM here. Why is it that a pyramid scheme that uses a disguise of a product-based direct selling company, why is it that when that is discovered to have scammed people, the penalty is a fine? But when a crypto Ponzi scheme like Goliath Ventures, allegedly, does the exact same thing just with crypto investments rather than lotions and potions and powders and Forex, why is that a criminal charge that now Chris Delgado is wearing an ankle monitor and going to jail and all this shit? Why is that? Isn't the principle of what they did the exact same? Deception, lying, knowing that what you're doing is fraudulent, but lying about what people could expect to benefit from it. Help me understand. Because I'm now we're all half a decade out. It's half a decade later from when IM Academy had their Great Gatsby golden era during COVID, when everybody was fucking losing their jobs and getting scammed into everything you could imagine. And Alex Morton did an interview with Eric Worre on his channel during COVID, gloating about how COVID has 4x'd, not 4x like foreign exchange, like 4x quadrupled their business. Celebrating how good COVID was for them. Nathan, in my ACN video, the worse things are, the better I do. Yeah, that's true because people are struggling and desperate. So how is it not a punishable, criminal, incarceratable, whatever the word is, imprisonable offense to take advantage of people's desperation during a time like COVID and promise them that I Am Academy foreign exchange program is going to make them X amount of dollars or make them rich or whatever the claims they made were? How is that not something that you're in jail for? That's so fucked up. That's so fucked up. And during that time, if you followed me on Instagram during that time, you know how crazy it was. Thousands of people sending messages and following me, telling me about their experience. More people coming out to share their own experience, screenshots or whatever. Even recently, I talked about how this guy, Cash Cartier, finally was sentenced. This guy, Caleb Mickens, a Texas-based social media influencer and network marketer tied to I Am Academy, in April 2026, sentenced to 40 years in prison for the fatal beating and drugging of his girlfriend. He initially tried to blame the death on his dog, which was later debunked by investigators. Do you guys remember when I did an Instagram live debating this guy in 2021? Me and him on an Instagram live arguing about the legitimacy of the company he was in, which now has settled with the FTC for approximately $100 million. I remember people in the chat who are like calling me an idiot and a hater and backing this fucking piece of shit up. Remember Austin Godsey? Remember this guy? Remember this guy who was featured in my videos? Who was sending subliminals at me too? Austin Godsey, jail. He's also included in the FTC's complaint, making deceptive earnings claims. Here he is, Austin Godsey, 34, incarcerated in Texas and seeks worldwide pen pals. Here he is. WriteAprisoner.com. What's he in jail for? Are we able to see the charges on here? Incarcerated since 2023. Oh, okay. Oh, here, see crime. Can we see the crime? Austin Godsey, 4000609. Incarcerated for sexual assault, and possession of a controlled substance. Oh, so I'm always right.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop them.
Oh, so I'm always right about these pieces of absolute garbage. Seeking prayer partner, yes. Anybody want to be Austin Godsey's prayer partner? Incarcerated since 2023. Sexual assault, possession of a controlled substance. You know, I've spoken to multiple baby mamas of this guy who he convinced these young women that he was like some sort of hotshot millionaire when they were young and impressionable to take advantage of this perceived power dynamic that he had over them in his role as an I Am Academy bigwig, slept with them while he was doing these speaking tours promoting the company, got multiple women pregnant, and then refused to take any accountability for the children, refused to be a father, refused to pay child support. And I've talked to those women about the complete and utter frustration, not only of being a single mom, but of, you know, basically getting no accountability from him when it comes to like child support or whatever. He's ducked and dodged these women, blocked them, ghosted them. And then now it's like, what do you expect to get from him when he's in fucking jail? It's like he shields himself from accountability in one thing by getting into trouble with another thing. This guy was also in Vima. This guy was also in Wake Up Now. He's a career scammer. And not only a career scammer, but it also appears a career criminal. Sexual assault, possession of a controlled substance. I tried to tell y'all. Here's a great picture from last year, February 2025. Sexual battery, coerced, threatened. Sexual battery, coerced, threatened. This guy was convincing girls he's a hotshot and he's a millionaire and they should let me, you know, get them pregnant. Previously, the FTC in Nevada obtained judgments against other defendants involved in the scheme as executives and high-level salespeople, including Jason Brown and Matt Rosa, also in Vima. Alex Morton, also who was in Vima. I Am Mastery Academy's Executive Vice President of Sales, Brandon Boyd. Five years later, and this is the accountability, this is the penance that these people have to pay. Meanwhile, throughout the process, I go through, losing my Instagram how many times? 17 different times it was taken down by, I don't know, they have these different methods where they like send bots at your account or they hack it, or I don't know what methods they use. But obviously it wasn't a coincidence. And obviously, Cash Cartier, Austin Gotzi, they're in jail, but that was for things unrelated to I Am Academy. They did that all by themselves. Alex Morton is still out here promoting another MLM as we speak, which I've already been collecting, Zoom recordings and stuff of that too. So don't worry, I'm coming for Alex Morton still. We're never letting that one go. But career scammers, in my opinion, allegedly. So yeah, it's just, and then throughout the process, again, not talking about any company in particular, but it's like me, I go through this. It's been 7 years now, 5 years since that company that I was talking about, I Am Academy. And it's like lawsuits, harassment, moving to the other side of the world to avoid people showing up at my home and my family's homes. For what? For these people to pay a fucking fine. How do I stay? I'm praying to the goons right now when I ask this. How do I stay? How do I reconcile the fact that every movie when I was a kid told me that I'm supposed to like do the right thing and stand up for the little guy and speak truth to power and, not bend the knee to evil when I see it? How am I supposed to watch Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility? How am I supposed to watch Batman seeing his parents die and then vowing to never, to do his part to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else again? How can I grow up having that instilled in me, only to become an adult and realize that the real world isn't actually that way? What do I do with that? How I can't unknow it. I can't unknow that it's happening. So how do I live my life and not say anything about it? But then if I say something about it, I'm getting sued and my life is being destroyed and I'm going through years of bullshit lawfare like I am now. Somebody in the chat, what up, Alex FPV in the chat. Somebody asked me about the website. Go to missiontomonetization.com/webinar. I'll put the link in the chat because I know that's a mouthful to type. And you can join the free workshop on Friday because, maybe this is the answer to my question that I'm asking here kind of rhetorically, but maybe the answer is just for me to become someone who takes my knowledge that I've learned about being an activist, being someone who advocates for a purpose that I care about on social media. And instead of just me putting everything into, trying to expose MLM for what it is, I help other people advance their mission and their voice and their, passions and projects. And, it's not, MLM is not the only problem in the world. It is a big one, I think, but it's not the only one. And there's a lot of other people out there in this world who do a lot of good, who I could probably help them with their mission too. So maybe that's I don't know why I feel this obligation. I feel a sense of responsibility to speak up. I don't know why. But yeah. Monsoon the Goon says, while it's nice to hear another scumbag get exposed for what he is, this is just the latest reminder that these pricks don't get punished. Yeah, and looking back on the Patrick Bet-David thing with Goliath Ventures, how they were the main sponsor of Vault Conference 2025 only a year ago. I'm sure Patrick will never talk about that. We'll never see him post a clip of that. We'll never see him mention that again. He's probably deleted all the pictures, if there was any, about with him and Chris Delgado. Again, I don't know if there was. I've seen the one picture that we pulled up earlier during the stream, but yeah, it's yeah. Anon Guy says, I'm in the wrong line of work. Do you want to start our own MLM, sells anti-MLM merch to protect people from MLMs? Yeah. Danny Boy says, check out Ricardo Aguilar interview on the Foo community. He's a top PHP guy, according to him. Yeah, I think I debated his brother, Alejandro Aguilar. That's one of my most viewed live streams. I believe they're brothers, and they're both in PHP, and it's really insane about... it's really insane if you see my debate with him. He's just like, you've never seen anybody that insane, in my opinion, and that delusional. Oh yeah, this is his brother, Ricardo Aguilar.
Now I want to get into earlier.
He angrily commented several months ago about on one of my videos making fun of Patrick, where I was responding to the... It was one of the clips where I'm responding to the Jubilee video of Patrick, the one capitalist versus a bunch of socialists, right? And this fucking idiot, Ricardo Aguilar, commented on it angrily, and he got absolutely ratioed in the comments. I'll see if I can find it and pull it up. And he blocked me, of course.
Now, I want to get into earlier. You brought up Patrick Bet-David, right?
Look, this was uploaded only 9 months ago. Oh, God.
No, he's a pretty big figure in the entertainment space, right? I know he has the Valuetainment. How did you and him even lock in to begin with?
So I'm a co-owner of the company that he started in 2009.
Which is?
PHP Agency.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do financial services.
This guy looks like such a scary bully, doesn't he?
So I deal with life insurance.
He literally looks like in Training Day, like one of those Mexican guys that threatens Ethan Hawke in the tub. You ever got your shit pushed in?
Retirement planning, annuities. I teach agents.
Retirement planning and annuities, fool. Break yourself. Hey, vato. Hey, vato, you looking for some life insurance? Retirement planning and annuities, eh? Doing the with his socks all the way pulled up, doing this. We doing retirement planning and annuities now, fool.
Recruit agents. I teach them how to run the business. I have to get them licensed to the state of California, whatever state they're in.
To this day?
To this day.
Okay.
So I started working for that. I will not working because I don't work for them. We're independent contractors. But I started working.
Also, Andrew, Noble Inquisition in the chat says, are you going to talk about PBD on Matt Cox's show? One of Matt's first ever online appearances was Valuetainment. I'm absolutely planning on it. Let's see if I get there and they say no Patrick Bet-David talk. That would be a disappointment because we've definitely got to talk about the Goliath Ventures and Patrick Bet-David connection for sure.
With him back in 2016. And so then eventually I ran the biggest organization in PHP. And because I was a high performer, still I am a high performer.
Don't mess with Avato holding on his feelings pillow. Hey, Essay, I'm hugging the pillow because I don't want to get hurt. Because I don't want to get hurt, Essay.
I got close to him. So there's about 4 or 5 of us that are his circle within PHP.
I want you to notice something too. All of the people who are like really close to Patrick, I noticed this thing where they start to talk just like him. The same speech patterns, the same weird disjointed roller coaster of dialogue, as well as the same mannerisms where they do this, they do all this like hand talking. Matt Sapala is another one of these people who I have a Matt Sapala video here. Let me open up I have a playlists tab on YouTube where I save all of these hilarious clips. Where is it? Let me find it here. PHP. Whoops. PHP. Here's one with Matt Sapala. I might actually have that saved locally. Okay, here. Let's just see a random clip.
Because why? Because professionals get paid for tasks. Entrepreneurs get paid for vision. Alonzo Hernan was a visionary.
Oh my God, all these fucking dumb 19-year-olds. Bars.
He's sitting cutting hair. But by the way, guess what he's cutting hair for? He's cutting hair for people in the hood? No.
Imagine Patrick is the one saying these words. He literally talks just like him.
He's cutting for people, rich people on Peachtree Street. 6 Peachtree Street. That's his barbershop. I think it's his own the department store's on it right now.
He even does the like going off on a tangent like, oh, this barbershop, I think it was located at this specific address and the year was 1998.
He's cutting hair. You think he's asking questions? Yeah. Every time I'm having a haircut.
Orale, I'm from East Los, but I'm suddenly from Iran, homie. Yo, I'm Armenian and Assyrian, homie.
I ask myself the question, is the barber asking questions? Right? And by the way, my barber is from Venezuela right now. Oh, wow. So I'm having a conversation with him, but Google Translate right here. Que pasa, puto? Is that a bad word? Oh. It is, okay. Okay. Because why?
Imagine paying money for this. Literal brain rot retardation. 7 figures what? Look at this.
So I remember my first journey in 2015 with PHP Agency. We came on board here.
I have one clip of him that I saved, that I have it saved locally. And he's like, he's doing this and he's like talking about, I sell life insurance. That's my day job. That's my day job. And he literally says it just like that. And I was like, oh my God. Is this Patrick? Oh yeah, here. I have the clip. Matt Sapala, I have it saved on my computer for some reason. Matt Sapala, Charlie Kirk. Here, let's see if we can pull it up here. Rob, pull up the clip, right? Pull up the clip of Charlie Kirk. Here, let me I have to change the screen that I'm sharing. Free content creation workshop this Friday. Let me change the thing that I'm capturing here. It is the okay, I gotta go application capture, and then which application am I capturing? I want to capture, I believe, QuickTime Player. Is this QuickTime? Yes, it is. Display. That. Okay, here, watch this.
For those of you watching this right now, you may not be familiar with what I do. I'm the senior board counsel of an organization called PHP Agency. That's my day job, okay?
That's my day job, okay? It talks just like Pat.
I run a national life insurance organization, okay? And that's why I'm interviewing on our stage 10,000 people. And to give it a little bit more context, majority of our companies in the black and brown community. Let me repeat that one more time.
Let me repeat that one more time. Patrick, is this you?
Of a company is in the black and brown community. 11% of our insurance agents are Caucasian.
Yay, most of the people you're scamming are in the black and brown community, not the flex that you think it is. Yay.
Majority of that is like 51% of our 52% of our company is Latino. The 35% is African American, Black Americans in here in America, and the rest is a splash between Caucasian and Asian. And
by the way, how does this 2-minute clip that I have screen recorded here, how does this even fit into a video called Charlie Kirk, a True American Patriot?
Native American, okay? That's the demographics of our organization. And listen to how many people are actually cheering him on in the black and brown community, which is the majority of the people in attendance at our conference.
If you do not have that piece of paper, let me prove it to you. Do you notice how they do political polling in this country? They do college educated and non-college educated. What are they really telling you? This is what the smart people think, and this is what the dumb people think. But who has wisdom? It's a much deeper question. The least wise people in American society go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Stanford. They believe men can give birth, literally. There is more wisdom in the PHP community and the plumbing community and the electrician community than all the halls of the Ivy League schools.
There is more wisdom in the PHP community, a company where most people lose money in according to their own income disclosure statement from 2022. There's more wisdom in the PHP community. The uneducated black and brown folks who are getting scammed, there's more wisdom there than the people who go to Harvard and Princeton and Yale. In case, I mean, it's just like griftception. In case you needed another reason to you know. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. I'm just saying, like, what the fuck?
And let me tell you why. Because you're here because you want to be more and you are rejecting this idea of just staying still. I think that's beautiful. Honestly, some of the most entitled people are the people that go to Brown or Dartmouth because they think they have it made.
This is such grade A, A1, coupe de color of Akon, Black Diamonds backpack rhyming, co-signed by Louis Vuitton. Lamborghini Mercy. This is such grade A multi-level marketing slop talk because what do MLMs love to shit on? Schools, college, university. They don't want you going to university fresh out of high school. They want you to be like my former best friend who joined World Financial Group instead of going to university, straight out of high school. Oh, yeah, I'm a financial advisor now. I'm going to make so much money and I just need to recruit people. And when are you going to sign up? That's what they... So yeah, this is like delicacy for Matt Sapala and Patrick Bet-David and whoever else is invested in this PHP thing that Charlie Kirk is speaking at for some fucking reason. They love that. Yes, Charlie, tell them that they're more intelligent. Yes, Charlie, tell them that they're more intelligent than the people who go to Brown and Harvard and Dartmouth and Yale because they joined PHP.
So I didn't go to college. We're partners in that way. And you know what? It's been the best thing for me. Well, I'm already pretty driven. I work pretty hard and...
That's the end of the clip. The fact that Charlie Kirk was only like 31 as well is like, what? I'm 30. How is that possible? You can't sit here and convince me that Charlie Kirk wasn't at least like 37. We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. All right.
The company has 70,000 licensed agents, but we're the core 6 leadership of the company.
And I want to get into that, right? But I do want to get into how there's online, they say that PHP is some sort of pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Ooh. Each recruit needs to recruit that will recruit a recruit. Pyramid. This man sells out his own people. Of course he's going to defend a scam. Am I going to see some of you guys in here? This foo scamming his own people. Foo for sure is scamming, trying to justify his scamming. Scam that takes advantage of Raza. What's with this guy and his security pillow? 70,000 agents? Haha, yeah, right. I bet he isn't licensed himself due to criminal background. Oh my God. Oh my God. Absolute ratio. Absolute fucking ratio. From the Foo community clips.
Yeah.
So that you say what?
Okay.
Great response. Great response, Ricardo. Ritardo Aguilar. It's too easy. It's too easy. Ritardo Aguilar.
I mean, we recruit agents just like...
I'm not too familiar with the business model, right? But I see...
Cool. I mean, yeah, cool. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Doug. People recruit.
I don't know what to tell you, Doug. It's not a pyramid scheme, though, fool.
Recruit. So because you recruit, now you're a pyramid scheme. So the military recruits, that's a pyramid scheme.
Ah, okay.
I'm retarded also, essay. I also don't understand apples to oranges false equivalence comparison either, homie. Yo, that seems like a logical fallacy, fool. It ain't no logical fallacy, essay. This is real. Doing like the gang whistle, the street whistle. Recruit 5 people, let's say. Life insurance and annuities, fool. You ever think about your retirement, homie?
NFL recruits, that's a pyramid. Yeah, I recruit. I'm open about it. Yeah, I recruit. I want to teach you how to do what I do so you can make some extra income. I've taught multiple people how to make 6 figures a year on a part-time. I've taught people how to be able to make $2,000 or $3,000 a month through the insurance industry on a part-time. I recruit them. I bring them on board. I get them licensed to the state of California, and I teach them. By the way, when you see a now hiring, what is that? At any store, what is that?
That's a form of recruitment, right?
It's a fucking recruiting mechanism, dog. It's
a fucking recruiting mechanism, dog.
People are like...
He's such a fucking... These people are such bad faith, filthy liars, you know, with these false equivalences. Like, oh, when you see a sign that says now hiring, that's recruiting too, fool. Really? I'm pretty sure that those people who respond to the now hiring signs actually get paid. I'm pretty sure the now hiring signs actually refer to you getting a wage or a salary in exchange for your time and your work. This is a semantics game. They're doing something that my ex-girlfriend did when I was 20 years old. When I was 20 years old, dude, I don't know how I somehow had more riz when I was younger, with no beard, way skinnier, no money. Somehow I was on a mad ting when I was like 2021. It's a story for another time. When I was 2021, I was dating this super hot blonde Barbie blonde girl. Now, this is a great story. Everybody buckle up for this story. Let's go into the studio. I was dating this girl who, pretend I'm on Patrick's podcast telling this story and he's looking at me like listening like with his nostrils like this. I was dating this girl who was this beautiful blonde, and you know, canon event moment, you know, building moment for me as a young man was that my hot 20-year-old girlfriend, actually I was 20, she was 19. My hot 19-year-old blonde girlfriend was working as a bottle service girl at a nightclub. Where's the fa? Give me the
Elon Musk.
Super fa moment. What up, Mars in the chat? And so she was working as a bottle service girl at this club. I promise this relates back to the Ricardo Aguilar story. She was working as a bottle service girl. And I remember, you know, at the time I was also working in the concert promotion game. So I was also in the clubs. I was at all these concerts. Like, I get it. I know how it is in the nightlife scene. Bartenders, bottle girls, they drink on the job. It is what it is. They're not supposed to, but they do. That's just what it is. Cocaine, by the way. And so I remember one night before she was going to work, it was like a weekend night. She was going to do bottle service at this club. And I remember I said to her, I was like, yo, I know how it is in the club, but make sure you don't drink, because there's cops all around that area of the city where this club is, and they're always trying to catch people coming home from the club drunk and giving out DUIs. They're always trying to catch drunk drivers. She was like, yeah, no, I won't. I was being misogynistic and controlling by telling her this, of course. And so, yeah, I was like, make sure you don't drink. She's like, okay, I won't. So I was doing whatever I do at home, waiting, wondering if I'm being cheated on. And she came back to my house. She came back to my apartment. This is literally, I was such a kid. This is the first apartment I lived in after moving out of my parents' home when I was fucking 19, 20 years old. And she comes back to the apartment at like 3 a.m. or whatever. And I was like, I remember I said, did you drink? Following up on the shit I said before. I was like, oh, okay, good. How did it go? Did you drink? She said, listen to what she said. Listen to me. You want to know what she said? I'm going to tell you what she said. She said, no, I just had 2 shots. I'm like, wait, what? So you drank? She's like, no, I didn't drink. I just had 2 shots. Now my blood is boiling, right? Now I'm pissed. Because now you're playing in my face, as they say. Now you're playing in my face. So I said, that's drinking. You had 2 shots. That's drinking. She was like, no, I didn't drink. And so I'm trying to put myself in her shoes and understand, how does this make sense in her mind? Was it not drinking because you just had a shot and it was done? Like, it's only a drink if you're sitting there and sipping on it multiple, for like 30 minutes or what? Or would it have been drinking if she had 3 shots? Like, surely if I had 10 shots, you would have said, yeah, you spent the night drinking, right? I was out drinking. But if you just have 2 shots, apparently it's the same as drinking water. I don't know. Fuck me. So this is something I learned, that I learned about. It's called semantic shifting, where you change the meanings of words so that you're technically telling the truth in accordance with your own made-up reality. And you always see this. Unfortunately, this is shit like think about the Jada Pinkett Smith and entanglement with August thing. I will never get over this. I'm still pissed about this. An entanglement with August. She can't even bring herself to say that she like had a relationship or an affair or whatever you want to call it. An entanglement. Just make it up. Make it up. Whitewash it. It's like, I don't think it technically qualifies as doublespeak, but it pisses me off nonetheless. Or here's an example. Pretend you're sitting in your cubicle at work. And in the cubicle next to you, you hear the voice of Mike, your coworker. Later on, your boss comes by and says, "Have you seen Mike?" And you say, "Nope, haven't seen him." Technically, you're telling the truth, because if Mike was on the other side of the cubicle and you only heard his voice, technically it's true that you didn't see him. But you know more or less what the boss is trying to ask you when he said, "Have you seen Mike?" It's synonymous with saying, like, do you know where Mike's been at? Like, you could have just as easily responded to that, "Oh, he was in his cubicle earlier," or "I heard him earlier." But saying no is kind of deceptive, right? Because technically you're telling the truth because you didn't see him, but you get what I'm saying. And this is the type of thing, like, honestly, this is why I have trust issues, because of the entanglement with August, 2 shots, I didn't drink, I just had 2 shots shit. God forbid I ask my girl one day, "Did you cheat on me?" And she says, "No, absolutely not." And then I find out what I'm saying. Okay, let's see.
It's so crazy. Rasta's the only one that thinks like that. White people don't think like that. White people, Arabics, Middle Eastern, they don't think like that. It's just our people recruiting. Okay, Dick, you like a football team? You got recruited to that football team.
So stupid. It just goes on and on with the false comparisons. And also, why is he going off about his own people? It's only Latinos and Latinas who are skeptical of this? I don't think that's true.
Yeah. You got recruited to the fan club. Like, yeah. By the way, don't the Mongols recruit? They have prospects. They recruit some. They recruit, "Hey, I like you. I'm going to make you a prospect." Who doesn't recruit? Right. So that's a pyramid scheme because you recruit. Right? It's just a lot of ignorance.
It's not a pyramid scheme because you recruit. It's a pyramid scheme if there's rewards or payments tied to the recruiting, obviously.
So it's kind of dying down now.
It's a lot of ignorance, dog.
Because, I mean, what are you going to say? Like, we sell insurance.
By the way, I can't even say "by the way" anymore. This was posted August 2025. Since this was posted, this guy has blocked me on Instagram. I think my post about the Patrick Bet-David Jubilee thing actually came out after this, but still.
That's it. I do insurance and I do retirement planning.
The real DJ BK says, I don't have to pay to get hired at my job. True.
Through Patrick, have you been able to rub shoulders like with these politicians? Or you kind of did that on your own accord?
No, that's what opened all the doors.
Oh, okay.
Can't take credit for that. Now I've been able to connect with them outside of Patrick, but because I've made a name for myself by being close to Patrick. I don't know if that makes sense. Like I can't say I'm not saying I would have never connected with them, but this guy knows this guy, this guy knows this guy, this guy knows this guy, this guy knows that guy knows that guy, and that's the way you connect. So though it may not be a formal introduction between me, Patrick, and that one individual, but now this connection opens up to another connection, and that connection opens up to another connection.
I see.
It doesn't make sense. It's a trickle effect.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is. But I mean, yeah, the pyramid by the way, Herbalife, you know how many people Herbalife has recruited, bro, and some paisitas been able to make a little bit of money. And if you could put money in people's pockets and you wanna knock on that shit, but you wanna glorify fucking drug dealers and bumping their song.
What a horrible example to use. What a horrible comparison. Another MLM that has been infamous for its impact in the Spanish-speaking community. Can't believe you've done this.
You know what I mean? Like, dog, you got your priorities. That's the thing about the Hispanic community, dog. You got your priorities fucked up. You call a lady in Amway.
What up, Parsa? What up, Glow? SpaceX going to IPO soon. What do you think of its valuation? $5,500 billion, $50 trillion. I know Pat's going to be buying some stock.
In Herbalife.
All right, moving on here. I want to see this clip real quick that somebody recommended to me.
So let me get into the Rogan Theo Von. So Theo Von is on Rogan's podcast, and he talks about the
SSRIs.
Yeah, SSRIs. I think this is it, where he's talking about he's been on them for almost 20 years. Rob, if you want to play this clip, go for it.
It's all just a cat and mouse game. People are like, we'll elect the Democrats next time. It's like, but it's all the same shit has been happening forever. They haven't been helping anybody forever. They're letting fucking politicians slurp on kids. All of our fucking money goes to Israel, and they're using it to fucking genocide
No, Rob,
people.
this is not it. This is when he says he's been taking medication since the breakup, Rob. This clip has nothing to do with the other. Did you find that one or no?
I couldn't. That's the clip that it kept showing me as to what started the conversation about his mental health.
Rob, figure it out, Rob.
But does he say there about him being on medication for?
No, Joe just says something like, "Hey, man," like he makes a comment on like how he.
No, that's not the clip. That's not the clip.
I know.
To me, this is it. Go ahead.
So to me,
is to get off of antidepressants completely, man. I want to feel how I'm supposed to feel so I can have thoughts.
Look at the tabs. So funny. Theo Von SSRI, Theo Von SSRI, Nick Shirley, G asked Trump helping Iran, G Trump Iran war ChatGPT link.
And actions that like.
I saw that, yeah, Mars, everybody was mad at Joe Rogan. Joe, I don't read the comments, Rogan, now apologizing for saying what he said to Theo Von and saying everybody just misunderstood it and he wasn't trying to run cover for Israel or gaslight Theo. He was just trying to, address what Theo had been saying before about not being in a good place mentally and look out for him. It's like, oh my God, Joe. We did it, Joe.
Make me.
Uh-oh. A little lag. A little lag never hurt anyone. What's so strange is that, there we go. I'm having a little bit of lag now when I have only 3 tabs open. But before, at the beginning of the stream, I had like 15 tabs open. No, maybe not 15. That's crazy. Maybe like 10 tabs open. And we were fine. We're fine. Give it a second. Well, there. What if I put it to this screen? Refresh. Wait a moment. And thumbs up the thing in the meantime. That's what you flag. Because nobody's clicking thumb up on the thing. Honestly. They're trying to silence you for real. They're trying to silence you. Wrong clip. They made him a fool because he played it. What baffles me is the blatant gaslighting and manipulating. So true. You're being silenced, dead ass. Damn, this is a good stream too. Marco keeping it 100. Okay, I can hear from the fan of the computer that the lag is. We're chilling now. So, knock on wood. And I refreshed the thing. Let's see.
Bad relationship 20 years ago, and I was having a tough day at school, and they gave them to me, and then I never got off.
Really?
Because when you get off, I think we talked about this once. It's hard.
Yeah, it makes you more depressed, and more fucked up, and you're all imbalanced, and you probably are addicted to them.
Yeah. Like
So
one of my
this
goals.
is it. So this, and by the way, this is a lot of people that are on this. Then Joe talks about it on one of the clips. That clip right there, if you can go to it. Yeah, I think this is the one. Go for it.
Theo Von's going through the exact same thing.
That clip right there.
Last time he was on the podcast, he was explaining it to me. And it freaks me out because I know Theo has had conversations before, like even publicly. He had a Netflix taping, and it didn't go well. It was like they shelved it. They never used it. There was all these stories from people that were there saying he bombed. I think he just had kind of a breakdown. And when he was talking to the crowd, and there's a video of it, we said, the people were shaking, hey, we still love you. He goes, thank you. Look, I'm trying not to take my own life. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah. And like, you hear stuff like that, and you just go like, oh, Jesus Christ. I've known too many people that I didn't think were going to kill themselves and then did. And then he goes down these spirals where he starts talking about world of...
Tyler in the chat with the bars. He may lag, but y'all can still drop bag. That's so true.
Thanks, Marco.
Maybe that's the key. Maybe the stream is detecting, based on patterns of previous streams, that the bag frequency has slowed down, and now it's like, wait. This can't be right. More bag. The donations need to come in so that, because the money goes directly into the satellite towers, which boosts the signal. Same with clicking thumbs up.
Events and freaking out. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, I got to help this dude. And so I send him things about people getting off of them. And apparently there's some doctors that specialize in getting people
Joe
off of them. But
Joe is, you can pause it right there. Joe is talking about what Theo's going through. Then Theo responds back to this. And here's what Theo has to say. You just had it a minute ago, Rob. You had it up. Yeah, on the one with Theo reacting. And he says, this is mostly cap. Sad to see this kind of stuff. I'm doing great.
This is mostly cap. I love hearing Patrick say Gen Z slang.
This is mostly cap.
This is mostly cap.
Sad to see this kind
He dragged the word cap out to be 2 syllables somehow.
of stuff. I'm doing great. I'm a human being, which is rocky ride, but I'm doing fine, thanks. Vinny, how do you, this story went viral, and, we were kind of debating whether to cover it or not, but if it wouldn't get these kind of eyeballs, we wouldn't have talked about it. Why do you think this story did this well, and what's your perspective on what Theo is saying to Joe's feedback?
Well, because, first and foremost, they're actually friends. They're not just podcasters that just go on a podcast and then they're done. Joe actually...
Okay, I'm not interested in hearing what these idiots have to say. I am interested in hearing what Robert Fitzpatrick has to say. And this is an article that he released on Pyramid Scheme Alert. This is his website on Tyler Avery. Come on, Tyler, you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Because I want you to come.
Can you bless me with something?
Oh, gosh.
Money-wise.
Elon Musk.
You guys can't be letting Tyler drop all the bag, because Tyler is literally one of the all-time bag-dropping goons of this channel. If it weren't for Tyler, I probably would not have lasted as long on YouTube in the early days as I did. And so I want to give a big shout out to Tyler and say, you guys, be the change you wish to see in the world. Drop the change you wish to see in the world. We are the world. We are the children. Anyways, so Robert released this article called Crypto and Prediction Markets, Legacy of MLM. Now, let's just, I'm going to go through this and add my comments, but this is actually very interesting and invigorating. So don't be scared off by the plain black and white text here. I know you guys have Subway Surfer brain, okay? I know it's not easy. How do I reset this entirely? Transform? Can I reset it completely? Here, reset, transform. There we go. I know you guys have TikTok Gen Z brain, but I want you to really try your best to pay attention and to not get distracted while we watch this. Can I put this up a little bit? Rob, pull it up a little bit. There we go. Good enough. So fucking stupid. What, the fact that I even have this as a background is like so hilarious, but also like so dumb, Shrink it a bit. There we go. That's close enough. Everyone pay attention to this article, okay? Should I move this to the side and then add the image to the right? Okay. So, Crypto and Prediction Markets, Legacy of MLM. Robert writes, remembering I am one of the few people in the world that for more than 30 years consistently examined and sought to expose the lie that is called multi-level marketing. I am not alone, but a tiny cadre of truth-tellers, nearly all of whom have been sued and slandered for publishing findings that validate what is actually plain and obvious. Me, always Marco, me, getting sued multiple times, me, going through years of lawfare and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars of legal fees, Streamlabs link in the chat. Marco, that's your impression of PBD when the math ain't mathin'. That's cap, right? You need the PBD voice to talk like that. Okay, here, I'm continuing. Sorry, completely zoned out while Subway Surfer was on the screen. With numbing repetition, year after year, I witnessed and heard the maddening stories of MLM abuse and tragic consequences, divorces, ruined relationships, interrupted education, bankruptcies, crippling debt, lost years in mental captivity, even suicides. My research of more MLMs as they exploded in number only further confirmed the grim truths. Wow. Bro is me FR right now. Because, me and Robert are part of a very small group of people on the entire planet that actually, I think, understand the true depth of what MLM is and what it has done and how big it is. And I too hear these stories of divorces, ruined relationships, interrupted educations, bankruptcies, etc., etc. Quote, he quotes here, all MLMs are essentially identical. All produce the same virtual 100% loss rates. The claim of direct selling is an absurd disguise. MLM products are theatrical props of an elaborate pyramid scheme, as are the names, titles, and terms of business that it employs. No one earns net profit from MLM retailing or direct selling. All MLMs use the same methods to defraud, delude, and mentally enslave. The fraudulence is inherent. MLM cannot be regulated. Along the way, I abandoned expectations about business, government, law, and academia, and I got used to disappointment. This is directly piggybacking, by the way, but off of the thing we read about the IM Academy settlement. $1.2 billion in estimated scam money and $100 million in estimated retrieved or recovered assets to cover the bill. So I relate to this. Robert writes, I wrote and personally met with staff and members of Congress with no response. I witnessed FTC officials taking high-paying jobs with MLMs, saw university professors in court taking large fees to swear MLM is a business opportunity. I assisted countless journalists who went on to produce both sides' narratives, citing false data without fact-checking, provided to them by the MLM, and identifying me as a critic. The premise that MLM is legitimate direct selling was journalistically accepted without knowledge or challenge. Some reporters told me their editors would never allow MLM's legitimacy to be put in question as a story focus. Foreseeing. Over these years, I had one more response to what I witnessed that was of much greater significance. I had a foreboding sense that MLM, the largest cult and organized financial fraud in American history, was laying a foundation for even larger and more destructive scams and financial delusion. That fearsome intuition proved to be prophetic. Since 2008, MLM has spawned at least two other gigantic delusional scams that are running rampant in America, like MLM and spreading globally. Their negative social impact accelerates the erosion that MLM has inflicted for decades on societal foundation. In total dollars and numbers of followers, they are already far larger than MLM. Their impact on the national economy is more ominous. MLMs harm millions, especially those financially struggling, but its position in the larger economy is marginal. The newly spawned scams inflict heavy damage at lower ranks of income, but one also holds potential to bring down the entire U.S. economy. The two delusional scams are cryptocurrency, e.g. Bitcoin, and prediction markets, aka e.g. Polymarket. Now, I know if Michael K is watching from somewhere, he's going to be very angry about seeing Robert say that Bitcoin is a delusional scam, but let's let Robert cook here. Like multi-level marketing, they are identified by names that hide their realities. MLM is not multi-level. The recruiting chain is actually endless. MLM is not marketing. It's just internal purchasing and financial recruiting. Crypto is not a functioning currency except to launder or hide financial transactions, especially across national borders. Its predominant role is that of an imaginary commodity with no backing, no inherent value, and no practical usefulness to the general public beyond Ponzi trading. The value of its tokens and coins, like an MLM distributorship, depends on belief and future purchasing by more believers. Last ones in always lose and are always the vast majority. This is called the greater fool theory. Prediction markets, where people can place wagers with advertised odds on virtually any aspect of daily or public life, sporting events, news, they do not predict and are not markets. They are a corrupted and unregulated form of gambling that allows those to bet who already know the outcome. Odds are subject to untraceable insider manipulation. As MLM pretends to be direct selling, prediction markets pretend to be futures investments and derivatives. As MLM commercializes all personal relationships, prediction markets seek to financialize every aspect of daily life: personal, political, leisure, and economic. Like MLM, crypto and prediction markets promise financial rescue for those getting crushed in the current economy. Both falsely present manipulated money transfers in the same way MLM does, as sustainable economics for the masses. Also, like MLM, they are impossible to comprehend. The real DJ BK says this is a masterclass piece. I agree. Here, I'll put the link in the chat for y'all. This is also, you can find this if you search pyramidschemealert.org. This is Robert's website. I highly recommend subscribing to it so that you can get his new posts. Literally the only blog I subscribe to. Pseudo-economics federally protected. Notably, like MLM, crypto and prediction markets have gained federally protected status based on their false identities, effectively immunizing them from lawsuits and law enforcement or even objective scrutiny. As MLM was granted status of direct selling, its pyramid structure, absence of retailing, and virtually total loss rates for participants, that is, what MLM does, are not examined. Consequences to victims are attributed to the market or are attributed to the market. What is the market saying about this? Or lack of effort by the losers. It's always your fault, right? Induced purchases by recruits are redefined as retail sales. Of course, how can a purchase be a sale at the same time? Deceptively luring people to invest in an endless chain where they inevitably fail, and deceptive promises about non-existent income and withheld information about cost are redefined as trade practices and placed under the protection of the FTC. This is precisely what I was talking about earlier when I said, MLM should actually be under the jurisdiction of the DOJ, not the FTC. Prediction market gambling is granted immunity from state gambling laws by being placed under the federal jurisdiction of the CFTC, here we go, which redefines the wagers as derivatives. Crypto remains in regulatory limbo, sometimes defined as commodities, other times as securities. As rival regulatory agencies, the SEC and the CFTC, farcically debate crypto's classification, what crypto actually is, how it functions, and its real-time risks and inevitable consequences are ignored or obscured. Great point. So they're sitting here arguing about what it really is while ignoring what's actually resulting from it. In the last 5 years, so this is since 2021, the total value of crypto rose to an astounding 4.2 trillion Bumba Pussy Ross Blood Clot Dollar. He didn't write that, I added that in. But more recently plunged to its current valuation of approximately 2.62 trillion, so almost half. Why did it sink? Where did $1.5 trillion go? What was the earlier valuation of more than 4 trillion based upon? If purchasing slows or stops, what sustains crypto's value? How much of the value is based on leveraged purchases using borrowed funds? What are the risks to the banks that make crypto loans? Those questions are not addressed. To obtain their imaginary status as derivatives, commodities, securities, blah, 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 granting them effective immunity from oversight, law enforcement, or common sense analysis, the crypto and prediction markets were able to seamlessly plug into the channels of government corruption, media complicity, and pseudo-economics built up over decades by MLM, which normalized pyramid schemes and distorted the perception of tens of millions. So the wider point that he's making here is that if you can make someone believe absurdities, you can make them commit atrocities. And the atrocity, obviously, when it comes to MLM, is you believe this is a great opportunity for you, which leads to you then unwittingly or unknowingly or unintentionally victimizing others. So it's so nefarious because it's taken you from just being a victim, which you are, to also being a perpetrator of the scam yourself. So, you're both the scammer and the scammed at the same time if you recruit people into it. And because they've been so effective in just relabeling something, as Robert puts it, relabeling the pyramid scheme as multi-level marketing, some form of direct sales, legitimate business, it's sort of laid the groundwork for being able to do the same thing with crypto, calling it cryptocurrency, rather than just, made up, Ponzi-ism, Ponzi schemes. Same thing with like prediction markets, gambling. As MLM demonstrates, this chapter is called Same Old Profiteers and Endorsers. As MLM demonstrates, gaining immunity from regulation and law enforcement leads directly to government leaders brazenly profiteering while also suppressing regulation or law enforcement. I remember the clip of Trump saying that Bitcoin seemed like a scam. Bitcoin seems like a scam. I'm going to pull up the clip. June 2021. So funny. 5 years ago. Here's an article from the BBC. The BBC. June 7th, 2021, almost exactly 5 years ago, Donald Trump calls Bitcoin a scam against the dollar. Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam, Mr. Trump said. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. You know? The Trump administration is not the first or the only, but clearly at the pinnacle of government complicity leading from MLM to crypto and prediction markets. Donald Trump himself was the longest term and highest paid endorser of MLM, receiving millions for telling his followers that MLM is a reliable pathway to prosperity. I documented this in my 2020 video called Infiltrating a Pyramid Scheme ACN. He helped found a new MLM with his own name on it. This was called the Trump Network. It soon went bankrupt, leaving tens of thousands of believers in confusion and loss. Many of his cabinet members, Amway's Betsy DeVos at the top of the list, have been MLM profiteers, perpetrators, and promoters. Now Trump's son and wife are running crypto schemes, and others in the Trump administration are accused of making prediction market investments on the timing of events and outcomes they have unique insider information about. Bill Clinton, who infamously received a speaking fee of $700,000 bumbaclot dollars to address an Amway event, is now reportedly collecting similar-sized fees for selling his name and public trust at crypto conferences. What was the event that Bill Clinton and Sam Bankman-Fried were both on? Remember that? By the way, this is not even getting into any of the like Jeffrey Epstein shit. These people who rule over us are on another level. Disgraced currency, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Crypto Bahamas. Clinton appeared on stage in 2022 alongside Bankman-Fried and former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair at the high-profile FTX Crypto Bahamas conference. Clinton reportedly received approximately $250,000 for his appearance at the event. So just one slight nitpick to Robert here. This is not new for Bill Clinton. Big lies lead to bigger lies. My haunting fear that MLM was a precursor to larger delusional frauds was based on an astonishing reality that I was witnessing. Despite MLM's fully documented harm to millions, absence of profitable retailing, and obvious endless chain design, the truth of MLM remained forcefully denied or suppressed. The big lie that MLM is a modern form of direct selling and an extraordinary income opportunity prevailed, as it does today. Fraud is business. Pyramid schemes are sales. Loss is opportunity. George Orwell would have understood. This is a reference to 1984, when, of course, the government of Oceania has the saying, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. That's sort of the slogan of the dystopian political party that rules over the people in the novel 1984. Claiming to be perfectly legal and promising extraordinary opportunity, MLM penetrated almost every American household and spread to more than 100 countries, teaching and advocating the scam system of pyramid recruiting, all under the protection of the U.S. government. On that perverse foundation, many new forms of mass-based fraud and folly could develop, using their own false identities, obtaining corrupt government endorsement, and expanding the revolving door traffic MLM had built up between regulators and mega scammers. How could this happen? What dare not be said? Shades of Epstein. This guy's dropping 84 bars on your head right now. Eventually, I recognized there was something else protecting MLM as much or more than MLM's false identity, big lie, and corruption of government. As in the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile/spy/blackmail/financial scandal. The naked truth of the MLM cult/fraud at a certain point became too disrupting and incriminating to be admitted. The Epstein scandal has revealed the reality of massive law enforcement failure and broad institutional cover-up in a way few could have believed before. Exposure or even admission of the truth of MLM indicts powerful politicians of both political parties, Famous business leaders, celebrities, church leaders, Wall Street gurus, and trusted government officials, all of whom are exposed to claims to restitution, accountability, or criminal prosecution. The mainstream media is indictable for its failure or refusal to investigate and report the tragic and documented experience of tens of millions of MLM victims. This makes me wonder what I was wondering before. If nothing's going to happen, how can I have any hope, Before the internet, wasn't there an entire civil war, the Boston Tea Party? Wasn't there a whole revolt about tax on tea before people even knew about, before people had Facebook groups to be able to even link up and organize something like that? Also, like Epstein's House of Horror, MLM's tentacles spread its ill-gotten money into state legislatures, universities, and nonprofits, gaining complicity from state AGs, academics, and consumer protection groups. Sinister silence. Reflecting the sinister silence of victims and accomplices that protected Epstein for years, and still do, many anti-MLM figures, even after suffering debilitating losses and humiliation, do not say out loud the terrible truth of MLM fraud and cult. They go along with the FTC-endorsed disguise of direct selling and business identity, publicly acknowledging that MLM is not business, but an orchestrated scam operating in plain sight, opens a door to realities of corruption, negligence, and cover-up they seemingly prefer to deny, and to personal consequences, real and imagined, they dare not test. Prior to Epstein, explanations of MLM's widespread cover-up, affecting media, law enforcement, academia, Wall Street, Congress, etc., and with the power to silence and intimidate millions of victims, were treated as a conspiracy theory or the ravings of those with a grudge or some nefarious motive. I can't imagine what Robert's gone through in 30 years of doing this. I've been doing this for 7. He's been doing this 5 times longer. Now unspeakable wrongdoing in high places, institutional cover-up, and fearsome walls of silence are being understood as all too real. Unlikely truth tellers. It took years of struggle and persistence, but now websites, podcasts, comedians, films, books, a few, and tragic testimonials of MLM victims are widely accessible. The coercive persuasion methods of MLM are examined and the label of cult is openly applied. An underground network of truth-telling developed even as the big lie continues to be presented as official truth by the FTC, mainstream media, and academia, and while risk of lawsuits or government prosecution still looms. Trust me. Following the same path, truth-telling about crypto and prediction markets is advancing, led by a small number of independent, non-institutional, and sometimes unlikely figures. Their courageous work is beginning to gain wide exposure. Here it shows the movie Everyone is Lying to You for Money with Ben McKenzie from the show Gotham. On the crypto front, the unlikely truth-teller is the famous actor Ben McKenzie, who explains to interviewers that he took on crypto because, in so many words, somebody needs to do it and no one else has, an expression heard from many MLM whistleblowers. In 2023, he authored a best-selling book on crypto with investigative journalist Jacob Silverman entitled Easy Money, Cryptocurrency, Casino Capitalism, and the Golden Age of Fraud, bars. And on the cover here, you have Sam Bankman-Fried and Trump just slightly poking out his mugshot. Building upon the book's research, he now has He's now produced a documentary, called Everyone's Lying to You for Money. Love the title. A consumer newsletter is also offered that may be the basis for continued activism. The film is described as knife sharp and impeccably researched. A recent review of the film begins with a statement that would perfectly apply to an MLM expose. Why is crypto so confusing? Because it's all designed to sell an illusion. Exactly. If people understood it, nobody would get involved in it. The review explains that crypto is meant to seem heady and new, yet also just out of reach, which is its secret appeal that makes its true believers into something of a cult. Perhaps due to the obvious reality that it is plain old gambling, with well-known consequences of addiction, loss, disruption, and delusion, prediction markets are debunked and decried by more truth-tellers. But it has already secured government protection and, absurdly, the pseudo-economic identity as investments in futures, even beyond a fake identity. Prediction markets have sought to take old-fashioned betting into realms beyond random chance, taking wagers on future events, which many people have ready access to information about the outcome and timing. Scheme operators claim insider trading is factored into the odds with AI algorithms. As a matter of fact, I saw a photo, and I don't know if it's real, but recently I saw a photo of a guy who was using like a hair dryer on some sort of like thermometer, for lack of a better word. It was like some outdoor thermometer that apparently is used by the news or like weather apps to report the weather, and it's like, you know, taking the temperature. And so apparently he was heating it up so that the reading of what the weather was would temporarily spike. So he had some polymarket bet or some other kind of bet that the weather was going to go up to a certain amount even later, like later into the evening when the weather was already going down, which seemed like an impossible thing to bet on. And so he bet on it, but then he manipulated it with heating up the weather reading thermometer thing, betting on the weather hair dryer. Let me see if I can find this. I see some articles here talking about it, but I'm not able to find the actual picture. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Fuck yeah, I found it. Here. This is just Instagram. Like, this could be AI for all I know. This could be fake. You know, that, like, this isn't even plugged into anything. So this could be completely fake. A man made $36,900 by betting on the weather and manipulating a weather sensor with a hairdryer to alter its readings. I mean, is it true? We don't know. We don't know, as Patrick would say. Common sense analysis of prediction markets and the harm it poses is now available on YouTube, such as a recent investigation of prediction markets by John Oliver or this 20-minute documentary for More Perfect Union. Two channels I love, John Oliver and More Perfect Union. I mean, first of all, can we just give it up for Robert's article right there, real quick? You know, I wish Robert was a YouTuber, but you know, he's from a he's in a different stage of his life, and you know, writing is his strength. Writing is his medium. For me, speaking is my gift. I also think that writing is my gift. When I'm able to sit down and think about my words ahead of time, I'm even more sharp and eloquent and well spoken and well communicated than what you see in videos. Especially, I mean, I don't think I do too. So weird. I'm sorry about that. Hold on. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe my arm is like hitting the microphone cable or something. Hold on. Let me make sure where I lost you at. Oh, I was just basically gone mute-licious. I was basically just saying that I'm a better speaker when I have a chance to write it down ahead of time, but I'm eager to watch this prediction markets video from John Oliver. You know, he's also one of his most viewed videos. I think all his most viewed videos are about Trump, with the exception of his video about multi-level marketing, which is, yeah. So look, his top videos, his most viewed videos, you see the top three are number one, televangelists, then Trump versus Truth, Trump, government surveillance, multi-level marketing, 36 million Bumbleclaw views on this. So this is obviously a huge, huge topic. I mean, that's 10 years ago now almost. It's really a remarkable. And now we have this one, prediction markets. Monsoon the Goon says he doesn't think he's to what? I think I was saying I don't think I'm too bad speaking like off the cuff live, but this is a video. This is a 32-minute long video. I've already been streaming 2 hours 43 minutes. even if I put this on 1.25 speed, we're looking at like another hour of stream time for me to get through this, with all the pausing and comments or whatever. So I think I'm going to leave it there, because the title of this stream is about Pyramid Pat and the Ponzi scheme, Chris Delgado, Goliath Ventures connection. So I didn't want to get too off topic, but there was some other topics that tied into this, and I wanted to give Robert's article its moment because I thought it was really good. And yeah, I just want to say we're definitely in the golden age of fraud right now, in my opinion. We are in the golden age of fraud. We do have MLMs running around like crazy, even though there's been some glimmers of hope from the FTC. They went after Stormy Wellington. They went after that one other couple we looked at last week. They went after the I Am Academy people finally. But until the actual big lie is addressed, until the truth of the matter is addressed when it comes to MLM, when it comes to crypto, when it comes to prediction markets, as long as these companies, as long as these different schemes are allowed to wear the mask, the disguise of something that's not of something that's legitimate, we're not really going to make real progress. We're going to be cutting branches off a poisonous tree when really we need to dig the poisonous tree up by its roots and chop it up into little pieces and shred it and make sure that it never has the chance to come back to life. We need to treat it like Michael Myers in Halloween Ends and put him in a fucking meat grinder. Spoiler alert for Halloween Ends, by the way. But yeah, so I know there's people out there who go to great lengths to, spread knowledge about crypto scams like CoffeeZilla. There's people like Danny DeHeck, who was featured in the most recent CoffeeZilla video, who specifically goes after crypto Ponzi schemes. There's me with MLM. There's Robert with MLM. All of these people, like you see Danny, he got sued. I've been sued. I'm currently being sued. I'm telling you, I've literally spent tens of thousands of dollars over the last couple of years, even just over the last year, tens of thousands of dollars on bullshit lawsuits. And the stuff I've gone through is it's just horrible. So, but I guess I kind of relate to the sentiment of Ben McKenzie that was quoted in the Robert article, where it's like, no one's doing anything about it. Somebody has to do something about it. And I don't know why I took it upon myself. I don't know why I felt like that person should be me. I don't know. I don't know. But point is, I'm going to keep doing the work that I think is good for the world. And I also want to help other people with getting their messages out, their thing that also impacts the world positively, or, helps people to not be affected negatively. And so, the next time I'm going to see most of you guys is on Saturday for the stream. I really appreciate you, as always, being here. There's still 133 people watching, even almost 3 hours into this. And I'm so, honestly, the only reason, truly, that I haven't, allowed the stress to take me to a really dark place or, quit doing this is because of you guys, continuing to support me, and giving me your kind words and your support and reminding me that I'm actually doing, that somebody actually cares about what I'm doing. And, most of y'all, I'm going to see you on Saturday. Anybody who wants to learn what I have to share about how I've built this sort of little movement that we have against these scams, maybe you can apply it to your own mission, your own social media, your own strategy. I will say it's been the if I die tomorrow, it's been the blessing of my life to have been able to make a living and support myself over the last 7 years being a content creator full time, through trying to help people and doing something that I believe in. And so if I can help anybody else do the same thing, I want to invite you on Friday to this free workshop that I'm doing. I'm going to put the link in the chat here. It's completely free. Just download the calendar invite. There it is. It's also in the description. Rika Hicks, thank you so much. Streamlabs link as well in the chat next time so that YouTube doesn't take 30%. I appreciate you. And yeah, you guys can check out this site. This is the website, missiontomonetization.com/webinar. And you can see the date here, Friday, May 22nd, 5 p.m. You just download the calendar invite. It reminds you of when the Zoom is happening. There's no catch. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to give me your email. Just, you can literally be a lurker if you want to. It's fine. But yeah, thank you guys for being here as always. And, you know, keep fighting the good fight, you know, and keep trying to be a force of good in the world. And I'm saying this like it's my final sign off, but we'll be back. So appreciate you guys. Love y'all. And see you again.
I gotta get the bag. Let's go. I took a full load.